Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
We had a little connection, Wi-Fi, technical difficulties. I got a few words to say before I come down anyway. Let's go into, finish the chapter. We're going to stay in Isaiah chapter 1,
Verse 4.
verse 4.
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 4. Sinful nation.
Sinful nation. Faulty nation. What made us faulty is by us going against what God said. That's how we become faulty. Okay? This is how we become faulty. Go ahead. Sinful nation.
A people laden with
A
iniquity.
people that glory in iniquity.
A seed of evil.
A seed from evildoers, seed from wickedness.
Children who are corrupt.
Children who are corruptors. Corrupt. Right? To degrade with unsound principles or moral values. Unsound means not well founded or valid. Okay? Tamshi.
They have forsaken the Lord.
They have abandoned God.
They have provoked the Holy One of Israel.
They have provoked the Holy One of Israel into anger.
They are going away
backwards. To provoke. Na'at. It means to spurn. To spurn means to reject with disdain. To reject with hatred. So when we reject God, that shows your hatred for God. When we reject God, it shows that you hate and despise God. So let me teach you how you reject God. This is not a game, man. Every day we show God that we hate him and despise him because we reject the things that he says, that he tells us not to do. We reject the things that God commanded us not to do. And this is how we show our hatred for God. Why should ye be stricken? Why should ye be stricken? The word stricken is order. It means, why should ye be admonished? Why should ye be warned? Because to be warned or to be admonished, why should I warn you? Why should I continue to discipline you or warn you? Because when you're warned, you stubborn up and you don't hearken. When you are warned, you refuse to be corrected. You refuse correction. So why should I continue to warn you and correct you and discipline you? Let me show you something, man. Let me read something for you. You know what discipline is? You know what discipline is? Discipline is what? Discipline is when you train someone to obey rules or code of behavior using punishment to correct disobedience. I say using punishment to correct the disobedience. Okay? Now, the only way, you know what strengthens us? Correction.
Yeah. Wake you up.
Tom Sheep, where we at?
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 5.
Why
should ye be stricken anymore? He will revolt more and more.
The
whole head is sick, and the whole heart faint. From the sole of the foot even unto the head.
He said, you will revolt more and more. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. You will revolt more and more. The word revolt is sarah. You know what sarah means? To continue to withdraw, to turn away. It also means apostasy. Apostasy is abandonment or renunciation.
Yeah.
Apostasy is abandonment or renunciation. Renunciation is a formal rejection.
Say it out his mouth.
You don't say it out your mouth that you don't agree with God. This is why when you do, or if you claim you agree with God, if you're claiming this heritage, then you should give them a formal make a declaration. Make a formal declaration. Make a statement and stick to it. The same way you can make a formal rejection, make a formal statement and show God you agree with God. Show God that you with him and you agree with his laws. But the problem is that we don't want to bind ourselves. You don't want to bind yourself. You want to be able to go in and out with God. You want to be able to go in and out with God. Tom Sheep.
From the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises, putrefying sores. They have not been closed.
They have not been closed.
Neither bound up.
Neither bound up.
Neither mollified.
Neither mollified.
Your country is desolate. Your cities are
desolate.
burnt with fire. Your land, strangers devour it.
The word for desolate is shimama. It means devastation, waste, desolation. Devastation means great destruction, damaged.
Everything. Yeah.
This is what God has led us to, man. This is what took place, man. And with that, I got what was bought.
Definitely.
And I'm going to call up the next speaker, teacher of the Chief Mika Van Level.
Shalom.
The connection between them Wi-Fi messed up everything.
Everybody should be tuning back in. They ain't got nothing else to do today.
Right.
Tune right back in. Because they got something today. Shouldn't have nothing else to do but be in a holy convocation. Giving all praises to the God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. The Most High, who kill it and make it alive. He bring it down to the grave and bring it up. The Lord make it poor and make it rich. He bring it low and lift it up. He raise it up the poor out of the dust and lifted up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he has set the world upon them. He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness. For by strength shall no man prevail. The adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to pieces. Out of heaven shall he thunder upon them. The Lord shall judge the ends of the earth, and he shall give strength unto his king and exalt the horn of his anointing. Repeat after me. Exodus chapter 20. And God spake all these words, saying,
I
am the Lord thy God,
which
which I brought thee out of the land of Egypt,
I brought thee out of the land of Egypt,
out of the house of bondage.
out of the house of bondage.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image,
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image,
or any likeness of anything
or any likeness of anything
that is in heaven above,
that is in heaven above,
or that is in the earth beneath,
or that is in the earth beneath,
or that is in the water under the earth.
or that is in the water under the earth.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them,
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them,
nor serve them.
nor serve them.
For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God,
For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God,
visiting the iniquity of the fathers
visiting the iniquity of the fathers
upon the children,
upon the children,
unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me,
unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me,
and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me,
showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me,
and keep my commandments.
and keep my commandments.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain.
For the Lord will not hold guiltless that taketh his name in vain.
For the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain.
Remember the Sabbath day,
Remember the Shabbat day,
to keep it holy.
to keep it holy.
6 days shalt thou labor,
6 days shalt thou labor,
and do all thy work.
and do all thy work.
But the 7th day is the Shabbat of the Lord thy God.
But the 7th day is the Shabbat of the Lord thy God.
In it
And in it
thou shalt not do any work.
thou shalt not do any work.
Thou
thou,
nor thy son,
nor thy
nor
son,
thy daughter,
nor thy daughter,
thy manservant,
thy manservant,
nor thy
nor
maidservant,
thy maidservant,
nor thy cattle,
nor thy cattle,
nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth,
For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth,
the sea and all that in the midst,
the sea and all that in the midst,
and rested the 7th day.
and rested the 7th day.
Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day
Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day
and hallowed it.
and hallowed it.
Honor thy father and thy mother,
Honor thy father and thy mother,
that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
Thou shalt not murder.
Thou shalt not murder.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Thou shalt not steal.
Thou shalt not steal.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife,
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife,
nor his manservant,
nor his manservant,
nor his maidservant,
nor his maidservant,
nor his ox,
nor his ox,
nor his ass,
nor his ass,
nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
Shabu. And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. They said unto Moses, Speak thou with us, and we will hear, but let not God speak with us, lest we die. And Moses said unto the people, Fear not, for God is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that he sin not. And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near to the thick darkness where God was. And the Lord said unto Moses, Thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, Ye have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. You shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall ye make unto you gods of gold. An altar of earth thou shalt make unto me, and shalt sacrifice thereon thy burnt offerings and thy peace offerings, thy sheep and thine oxen. In all places where I record my name, I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. And if thou wilt make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it of hewn stone, but if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. Neither shalt thou go up by steps unto mine altar, that thy nakedness be not discovered thereon.
Smoke.
Okay. First stop is in the law, Leviticus chapter 20. Leviticus chapter 20. Yeah.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Again thou shalt say to the children of Israel, Whosoever he be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seed unto Molech, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. And I will set
Molech means king, means ruler. Okay. A lot of the being that the Most High gave us a command that we are not allowed to say the names of the people's gods, of their deities, even though it doesn't exist. It's not a lie. But by you saying the actual name of the deity, you acknowledging that this thing is a god, is God, or that it exists.
Yeah.
So God said, you don't mention the names of these gods.
That's right.
I don't want you to hear it out of your mouth. See, it's a lot of things we can't say. It's a lot of things Israel are not supposed to say out their mouth. I read in the book I think it was Isaiah. It says, say not the law of the Lord is a burden. These are one of the things you don't say.
Yeah.
All over the book, it tells you certain things to say.
Right.
In Amos, it said, who you may not make mention of the name of the Lord.
That's right.
That's up to you. If you want to mention God's name, and you don't even know the real pronunciation because we don't know the vowels, that's on you. We're not forcing nobody here. We're teachers.
That's right.
We're here to teach the Lord whether Israel is going to accept it or no.
Whether they hear
or forbear.
Right.
It's the same situation with Moses and the people in the wilderness.
That's right.
Let's recall something. Remember this. The people, the greatest teacher Israel ever had. The greatest teacher that we ever had from all generations was Moses.
That's right. Who God spoke to face to face.
Who God spoke to face to face. There will never be another prophet.
That's right.
That's right.
Okay? And they didn't listen to him.
Right. You didn't think they're going to listen to you? They're going to listen to me.
That's why God told them, just tell them whether they hear it or not. I'll take care of them that don't listen.
That's right.
That's why he said, you don't fret yourself over evildoers.
Right.
Right.
That's why. See, you read here a little, there a little, and you can put it together. Line upon line, precept upon precept. You may. What Chief used to always say, you may. He said, everybody, it ain't guaranteed. He said, certain people can read every day. But is something in him or in her in the works of your head?
That's right. Block you.
That we can't see.
That's right.
That God saying, you're not gonna. It's not gonna have an effect with you. I have not accepted you. I'm not gonna help you because you need help. You need God's help to understand these commandments.
Right.
You know how long we've been reading this? All my life I've been reading this over and over and over. We never. Oh wow! Look,
still find
it's right there in our face.
Still find stuff.
God did that.
That's right.
God is the one who does that.
He reveals wisdom.
Okay. I said, oh no, I want this one close to me. I want this one away from me. I want this one dead now. I want that one far, far away. You're gonna turn, but later. So you stay over here. I'm gonna maintain you.
Yeah.
This one here, I gotta put you through afflictions because you're stubborn. That's how God do.
That's right.
So everybody don't get the same thing.
That's true.
But everybody got the same command.
That's true.
Ain't that something?
That's right.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
We all have a universe in our head. Your head, your brain,
world.
your own world.
That's
Right? But God is the one who directs your steps.
That's right. That's right.
You understand that? Yeah. We have our own thoughts. We have our own ideas. But they have to be governed by God's commandments.
Teach, brother.
He said, think not. The year of jubilation is coming up.
Yeah.
He said, don't say in your evil heart.
And then you don't.
He said, your evil heart. Yeah. Don't say this because your heart is evil, and these are the things that you're going to come up with an excuse not to perform God's commandment. Because that's what they used to do. We don't do the Jubilee now. The Jubilee is for the land. See, this is how we knew our calendar.
That's right.
Okay? Because it went according to the land, and we were agricultural people.
That's right.
Okay? So God gave us a calendar, and the first month was Abib. Okay? The 7th month, God said, the Feast of Booths, which is at the end of the year. So how come I'm hearing Happy New Year amongst Jews and Israelites? Look, even heathens around that time, they be like, Happy New Year, man. It's your new year. I'll be like, I don't celebrate no new year. God did not give us these days. I'm going to just point something out. We're going to get back into the Lord.
Yeah, teach, brother. Take time.
Leviticus 23. God tells us the days that we are to gather, which is called a holy convocation.
That's right.
Right? And on each one of those days, even the Shabbat, you know what the priest is doing? The priest ain't sitting in here with us. He can't leave.
That's right. Can't leave.
The priest wasn't out in the camp when the guy got unclean.
That's right.
He wasn't there. That's why it's not for the priest.
That's right. That's a fact.
Those were for the warriors. That's for the war camp.
Excellent point.
That's for the war camp. The priest does not leave the grounds of the temple or the tabernacle.
That's right.
Okay? You don't go nowhere.
Excellent point.
So y'all got to remember this. Certain things, yes, is for the priest, and God makes it clear. He says, say to Aaron and to his sons. Now, when we hear Aaron and his sons, or the sons of Lewi, this is for the priest. But there are certain rules that's only for the priest. Because God has separated the priest to himself. So he had to make them holy. Yeah. So certain things the Levites can't do that the regular Israelites do. They can't go and they can't walk around in the city. He's holy. He was made holy. He's set apart to the service of God. That's what the priest is. And the only place that the priest operates in the service of God is any place where God chooses to place his name.
That's right.
He said, in all places where I record my name,
Right.
I will come unto thee and I will bless thee.
That's right.
And that's how he had to set up. And we had that set up. Okay? We had that set up to get sin away. The thing is to keep sin off of us.
That's right.
For me not to sin, for you not to sin, for me not to trespass against you, transgress, because all these things create space between us and our God.
That's right.
We're not supposed to have a long distance space with our God. You're supposed to be close to your God.
That's right.
But there's only one way to get close.
How is that?
These commandments. And there are ways to be, ways to behave, a way to talk, a way to dress, a way to eat. And God got commandments for our whole lives. Everything in our life. Everything is covered. Okay? What we got to do now is do it. Do it before you understand.
Right.
If you understand, then you should be doing it. Right. Even more.
Right.
But either way, you have to do this. Okay? Where I'm at? What verse I'm at?
Verse 3.
Uh-huh.
And I will set my face against that man, and will cut him off from among his people, because he had given of his seed unto Molech, to defile my sanctuary, and to profane my holy name.
God said, I will set my face against that man. And there's many ways that many things can happen when God set his face against you.
Talk about that.
Many things can happen when God set his face against a nation or a city or a country. When God set his face against, means he's not with you
At all. That's right.
not with you. You don't like what you're doing, and there's repercussions behind it. There's consequences behind it. God called them judgments. We don't want to be in that bracket. About time with us getting hit up for our iniquities. Let's stop the iniquities.
Change.
Let's stop the iniquities. Not meaning that if you stop the iniquities, the drama ain't gonna stop. It's gonna rev up on you more.
That's right.
I want to see what you really made of. God is gonna try you.
Teach.
He's gonna put fire on you.
That's right.
You say, "Oh yeah, I ain't never gonna do this some more." In the next 5 minutes, you get challenged. God makes it to where, yeah, he's gonna say this, and I'm gonna see if you're really real with it. I'm gonna make this guy come and do this. As soon as you say and declare things out your mouth. But remember, we got to perform and do that was coming forth out of our mouth. So I got to think before I even open my mouth to speak. So we got to move a little bit slower. Stop being so quick to get upset. Stop being so quick to get happy. Because you can't get too happy today. Right or wrong? Because we get happy. We do activities. There are activities, events, and things that go on when we get happy.
If you're gonna be happy, be
You
happy
got
in God.
delight in that you know
Rejoice
God
in
today.
God.
See, today is a
That's
different
right.
delight. It's a delight
That's right.
that God commanded us to have. Okay?
That's right.
Because
Not your personal
this is not the day
delights.
for your personal
Right.
talk,
That's right.
feelings.
That's right.
And we be going through it.
Yes, we do.
We be going through it.
Yeah.
God said no. But he built us to where we can last and maintain and go through it and still consider him first. Put God first. I don't care what happened in my life. I'm not missing the Shabbat.
Talk about that.
I will not be on vacation. Look, you know what a vacation for me is? I leave Saturday night. I'm back here Thursday morning.
Right.
That's my vacation. Ain't no 2 weeks. Or if I got the money, I can fly in. Saturday night come, I can fly back out.
Yeah.
You could do that. More kesef you had. But on the regular, everybody takes 2 weeks off. Right or wrong?
Yep.
Everybody's just thinking it's vacation. Everybody go to vacation. Vacation. Let me tell y'all something, man. Be careful. We are among nations of violators.
That's right.
Okay? We violate too, but they
Take it to a different level.
we got some guilt with it. They don't want to hear about this. They hate what you are into. It's not really you. Because if you was in it with them, they wouldn't care about you. The object is to get you to stop serving God. Okay? That's been from the beginning. That's been the agenda. You want to talk about agendas? The agenda of the adversary is to pit the whole world against you. Ideas, entertainment, everything. So that you can have another idea and move away from God. Now, how do you give your seed unto Molech? Okay, I'm gonna tell you. In the ancient world, people sacrificed human beings, mainly their children, because they said the children, they had never had sex before. They said the child is pure to be sacrificed. Okay, but see, that's their way.
That's right.
God told them, "Do not put your sons and your daughters through the fire.
That's right.
Give any of your seed.
That's right.
It's Molech. That's right.
Don't do that. You know what that is? That's called baptism, communion, devotion. When you devote something to God, that sacrifice and that child has been dedicated to that God. There was a Moabite king that got defeated by one of our Israelite kings, and he ran back home, grabbed his firstborn son, and killed him on the wall. Put him up on the wall, and this is their belief. And they believe that, and they will kill you and die for their belief. What's up with us? We should be ashamed of ourselves. God said, if I had went to these people, they would have hearkened.
Facts.
That's just telling me, right? I'm not that guy. All it takes is a heathen to start doing these commandments, and that'll make him better than me.
That's right.
See, our pride is too high.
Say it again.
Our pride is too high.
Yeah.
It's too high. It gets to the point where you don't see it. It's you. And you make justifications. These are the things we got to break. That's why you can't do the commandments. Your pride is in the way of everything. Your pride will stop you from having a meaningful conversation. How about that?
Wow.
Your pride will stop a meaningful conversation. We ain't even talking about the book. During the week, and we talking about this, it's, oh, you know what? I don't want to talk to you. Oh, you ain't going to want to conversate with the person no more. Because it's too full of her or himself.
Yeah.
Remember this.
That's great.
It wasn't just the idols. The pride of Egypt. God did not like their pride.
That's right.
He said they think too much of themselves. They think their gods run everything. And they got everybody looking up to them. And up to today, you got people, the Egyptians. God said, don't hate them. That's it.
That's
Right.
it.
Right. That's right.
We're not supposed to look like them.
Nope.
We're not supposed to be celebrating their days.
It's all about it.
We're not supposed to be following their customs.
Right. Traditions.
So just don't hate them.
Just don't hate them.
That's it.
That's the easy thing to do. You ain't got to be like them not to hate.
That's right.
Because God said it. If God said it, it's possible. Tom Shane.
And if the people of the land do any ways hide their eyes from the man when he giveth of his seed unto Molech.
This guy's doing this and ain't nobody saying that.
It's not my son.
It gets to the point where nobody can tell nobody nothing in Israel. Nobody could correct. We have to correct each other. I got to correct myself and then rebuke my brother because I love him.
See,
That's how I show I love him.
That's right. That's what it
Not
is.
go over here and talk about it.
Yeah.
I go to him, yo, man, what's up,
That's
man?
right. That's right.
We got this wrong.
Yeah.
That's right.
We got it wrong.
Chastise you because I love you.
I said,
Right.
"See, bro, did you tell him? See, but somebody complaining about somebody else and what they did. What's wrong? I said, well, did you tell him? No. Why are you telling me? You want me to go tell him? I didn't see him do it.
Right.
Right.
I'm not a witness to this. I can't come with this. If I could come and berate him, but you got to come because you're a witness.
Okay.
Oh, I don't want to do that. Okay, so what you bringing it up?
That's right.
Mhm.
That's right.
You just want me to move on a person on your word?
Yeah.
Remember, we had two judges that lied
That's right.
Facts.
on a sister.
Yeah.
Facts.
So, man, because of their perversions,
That's right.
they didn't care about her. They just cared about running up in her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, knowing
No
that what they were saying and lying will get her killed.
Okay.
We don't have no love for each other. Man.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, we got more love for animals than we do for each other. We like the heathens. The heathens have more.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Let it
God
go.
tell us how to deal with the animals. But we go further than that. You want to feed all the animals. Feed all the animals. They don't eat this food. Let them do what God intended them to do. Look, that's why so many rats in New York. Everybody's feeding the cats. Y'all understand? We do everything backwards. Thinking, and look, naturally, you heard what Chishama said earlier. Naturally, you're going to be inclined to always do the wrong thing or nothing that means anything towards God. That's what we get caught up at. And all of this is being like the heathen. Come shoot.
Then I will set and kill him not. Then I will set my face against that man and against his family, and will cut him off, and all that go.
Okay, so he didn't die. The people left him alive. So God said, I'm going to be against him. I'm going to be against his life. Okay? All right? He's not accepted now. He said, I will set my face against that man and against his family. So if you got a family, you're the head of your household, you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility. Everybody in that house has to be kept abreast of God's laws. And you have to police it and make sure it's being done. You can't be weak. You got to be courageous. He said, and we'll cut him off, and all that go a whoring after him, so he's going to have people following. He said to commit whoredom with Molech from among their people.
Verse 6, Leviticus 20. And the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirits, and after wizards, to go a whoring after them, I will even set my face against that soul.
And the soul, the person. See, God didn't even say the person. He said the soul, because that's what's making you move. The spirit. That's what when you sneeze, it's the spirit sneezing. Once that spirit leave your body, the body is lifeless.
That's right.
It's useless. It turns into organic garbage. He said we are but flesh. That's what our flesh rots. But the spirit, where did the spirit go? We know the spirit don't die.
No.
Oh, call Israel agrees to that.
Raquel weeping for her children.
Raquel weeping for her children. She's dead. She was dead
Been dead.
hundreds of years ago. It was only in the land for 720 years. And that was towards the end.
Way after Jacob.
So you tell me where her spirit at?
Yeah.
He said it was in Ramah.
That's weeping for
Crying.
That's right.
We just heard about the Israelites that are dead and their children. That's from the generation that came out with Moses.
Yeah.
Okay? And the ones that went in are their children. And all them generations after up until today. We're all accounted for. So when it's not just my sins, it's the sins of my fathers. All this stuff they did, we did too. The stuff you read and shake your head at, you did it.
That's right.
Because your fathers did it.
If
If you claiming this, you got to claim everything that comes with it. You got to claim everything. You ain't going to have it all good. Because there's a lot of cleaning up to do.
Talk about it.
Familiar spirits, a person that interacts with the souls of the dead. So that means spirits go somewhere when your body dies.
That's right.
So the gods determine which place to go. I heard about a lot of the righteous and a lot of the wicked, and it's not on this planet.
That's right. That's right.
It's not on this planet. I'm just saying, read the book. It's there. It's not metaphoric either.
No, it ain't.
I'm a rapper. I know what metaphors are.
That's right. We wrote
I
them
know
down.
what metaphors are.
We know metaphors.
I know battle dudes, everything. We know what metaphor.
Yeah.
This is like this. That's it. But there's a lot of stuff in here that's not metaphoric. It never said like ass or like he said, yo, he said quicken me.
That's right.
David said, thou
me
shalt
up, brother.
quicken me.
Send
You're
me
gonna
up,
quicken. I'm
brother.
setting you up good.
Yeah, brother.
Good. Because the way we were trained in the same
That's
thing
right.
is gonna
We
happen.
in tune.
We always gonna mention the
That's
same thing.
That's right.
Because it's the same source.
That's right.
All of Israel is supposed to be mentioned in the same commandments,
Mm.
the same way. There is a problem. All teachers, we need to sit down. We need to make a day and sit down.
It's coming.
My Abba tried to do it. I'm gonna try to do it again.
It's coming. It's coming.
Okay? There's a new generation of me. All right? We all need to sit down and get these commandments straight.
That's right.
So that we are all on the same page.
Right. Israel.
And we're teaching people different things that's not in the book. Person go here, they hear one thing, they hear here, it's causing confusion.
Yeah.
Even if they hear the right thing, they're not sure because you got other Israelites bashing it or saying something against it.
That's right.
We look like fools, man.
It's confusing.
It's confusion. And that's a result
They all agree.
of not doing the commandments
That's right.
and not teaching them.
Yeah.
Then
No
now,
unity.
when we put the commandments out, the people have to agree to these commandments. They gotta agree. You gotta agree. I didn't make this commandment. I didn't make this book. God commanded me to live like this. So I'm explaining the details. Okay? We got a lot of work to do, man. We too old to be where we at right now with God. At our age, we're supposed to be closer to God. By now.
That's right. Wake up,
We
Jacob.
talk too much. You know too much. And you don't do nothing.
That's right.
These are things I tell myself.
Yeah.
Let me tell y'all something.
Yeah.
When we standing up here,
Yeah.
most of the teaching is for us.
That's right.
Okay, we got our sons, we may have our daughters, we have different family members far away watching them. It's for them too. It's for the new people that's there.
Yeah.
But for the Israelite, that's the scorner, it's not for you.
Okay.
God said leave them alone.
That's
You know what the scorner is? When you won't submit to that which is right.
right.
You say whatever or do whatever you do to turn your attention away from that.
That's right.
You're a scorner.
Right.
Anyone could be a scorner. Familiar spirits, I want to contact my dead ancestors. That's what the voodoo thing is about. Y'all know that, right? All them dances and all that stuff. It's for them. Whenever you hear people saying, yeah, no, our ancestors, spirit of our ancestors,
Yeah.
don't mess with that.
Yeah.
You see what happened when Saul got in contact. See what he did with Samuel, right?
That's right.
That's a familiar spirit.
Yeah.
The witch of Endor is a woman who is familiar with dead spirits. She knows how to get in contact with them. You ever seen? I've seen him on talk shows. You guys on a talk show. He says, "There, Peter here. Is there Peter?" The guy put his hand there. He said, "Peter." He said, "John said to tell you he's okay." His name was John, and he died. He's not okay. And some of them don't really be doing that stuff. They be scamming. They really don't know that stuff. They really don't. It's just illusion. That's what magic is. Tricks in front of your eyes. Magic tricks for your kids, no good. Rabbits out the hat, all that stuff. Playing, all that stuff is no good, man. There's a lot of things you're going to get told by God you can't do because it's wicked. Do you understand? The world is engulfed with everything that is against God. So it looks like you're being confined in a small space.
Yeah.
Make yourself fit in. Make yourself fit in.
That's what righteousness.
When you break your pride down, you're smaller. You can fit in that bracket now. See, that was a metaphor. Tongue sheet. It said, whoa. Familiar spirits. And after wizards, the wizard is a male witch. That's a word for a male. You got witches, you got wizards. You got warlocks, wizards, witches, sorcerers, sorcery. They all do the same. Diviners. Some tell the future. Some put curses on you. Some like making concoctions.
That's right.
God said, I have not suffered. That stuff is real. Right? This is real. But it's most evil. And God said, I have not suffered you to go through these abominations to know your future. All you got to do is serve God, right? And you will live.
That's right.
All you got to do is serve God and you will prosper. You will do well. Your children will be well. All these things he said. It didn't register and it still don't register now. The signs. What you call it again?
Zodiac.
Zodiac signs. No good.
Israelites still doing
astrology.
All right, now I'm gonna let y'all know. Birthdays come from the zodiac sign.
That's right.
Probably stepped on it. I'll be all right. You okay? Probably stepped on it.
Yeah. See me lurking on the door, that's why.
Now,
That's her fault. When they open
yeah, she's trying to run out.
down on the door. Yeah. When you open the door, she trying to run out. That's her fault.
Time sheet.
The zodiac sign and birthdays are linked together. They go, you can't have one without the other.
That's right.
Think about it.
It's worship.
What sign are you?
Yeah.
Oh, you was born in September, or you're a Virgo, or you're this, or you're that.
Yeah.
That's dealing with your birthday.
Yeah.
Period.
It's all rigged up.
So if zodiac is no good, read.
Thank you. To go a whoring after them, I will set my face against that soul and will cut him off from among his people.
Okay, now that guy's still alive. He didn't die because the people didn't kill him. So he's cut off while he's alive.
Mm-hmm.
He's never going to serve God.
Right. Cut off.
His family is never going to serve God. You see what he said? Certain things a man can do, certain transgressions against God, a man will get his whole family wiped out. Where none, the man or none of his sons, none of his daughters, nobody that come from him will serve God. That's not a good ending. See, we do things. God says certain things. He said, yo, if you do that, then I'm going to do this. If you do that, then this going to happen. Sometimes he said, don't do this.
That's right.
He don't tell you what's going to
That's
happen.
right. That's right. It's a command.
It's just a command.
Follow it.
I don't have to break everything down. And God did break a lot of things down.
Yeah.
He said, because they met you not with bread and water, by the way. So why am I coming up with my reason? This is our problem. God has everything covered, y'all.
That's right.
We got an easy job.
That's right. You don't need no amendments.
You don't need none of that. We don't need to change nothing.
No.
We got to change.
That's right.
I have to change. You have to change.
Yeah.
They have to change. The people who call themselves Israel. Time sheet.
Sanctify yourselves, therefore, and be ye holy.
That's the only way to be holy is to separate yourself. That don't mean go in a room and
Say it again. What'd you say? Want to be what?
separate yourself.
Really?
Ostracize yourself.
Sanctify yourselves. There's sometimes, unfortunately, you might have to separate yourselves from your own people.
That's right.
Sometimes you're gonna have to separate yourself from your family
That's right.
in order to serve God.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
That's right.
I may have to let go of my girl.
That's right.
She don't want to serve God.
Your children.
I might have to tell my son, you can't stay here.
Right.
Right.
Because you disappear when it's Saturday comes.
Yeah.
You disappear every time. You find an excuse not to be here anytime.
What's more important?
Well, and I've seen it so many times. Once I see that, oh wow, Shabbat come, you don't see that person tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, they
They
gonna
don't
pop
want
up.
to serve God.
Yeah.
So you got to watch that. You got to watch them in the house because they're not going to go by the commandments.
Yeah.
They will go in there on Shabbat and rinse a fork. To rinse is to wash.
That's right.
It's just another word for washing.
That's it.
Right.
That's
The
right.
synonym, English synonym.
That's right.
Different words mean the same thing.
That's right.
So when you rinse something, you wash it. We are not supposed to wash, clean, fix,
No. Prepare.
prepare,
That's right.
take out, or bring in
That's
on
right.
Shabbat.
That's right.
That's right.
Those are the activities that stop.
Gather.
Because when God stopped working, that was work, creation.
Mhm.
It's setting up. He said he took the earth and put it on his foundation, and he set the stars like you decorating your wall. or something.
Just set them up.
You see how big he is?
Yes.
Right.
The heavens is like this to him. He sit above the heavens.
That's right.
Right.
And another thing,
Hashem.
God controls power. All power is his. God is not power. He is much more power.
The author of power.
Baruch
He's
Hashem.
the author. All right. I'm gonna give you an example of power.
Like
Electricity.
Mhm.
Electricity.
Mhm.
Electricity.
Mhm.
God made that.
Baruch Hashem.
Lightning.
That's right.
God made that.
That's right.
Water. That will drown
Yeah.
you. God made that.
Energy.
Energy. He can even turn the air against you.
That's right.
There are people who cannot breathe this air that God made for us.
True.
Do y'all know that?
Yeah.
True.
They gotta be in the incubator
Right.
with artificial air.
Right.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
But God made that too.
Mhm.
God made that too.
That's right.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, He made everything.
That's right.
But everything gotta go. Everything got a day.
That's right.
Even this paint gets old and withered and chipped off.
Yeah.
The census is in everything in the family.
True.
The thorns is up.
Yeah.
We die, but we need to die ready to see God.
Okay. Okay.
How about that?
That's
You need to
true.
die ready to see
What?
God.
What my father told me is, if you do these commandments, that means you're getting ready to see God.
Yeah. Prepare for that.
You got to prepare. Your whole life is about preparing to meet your maker.
Right.
You don't want to meet him?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we can't meet him in the state we in.
That's right.
You're not ready.
We got ready. So well, we got. I always do this and they had not one watch on him. He said, "Look, you got that much time. We don't have that much time."
That's a fact.
10 years ago, you was 10 years younger.
That's right.
How quick that went by.
Yeah.
Think about your childhood. Just yesterday, you was a child. Life is short. See? So we ain't got time to be playing around.
That's right.
Some shit.
Sanctify yourselves, therefore, and be ye holy,
Uh-huh.
for I am the Lord your God. Leviticus 20, verse 8. And you shall keep my statutes and do them.
The statutes, the Shabbat, his feast days,
Mhm.
right? The feast of weeks, feast of boots, and the feast of unleavened bread. Then we got he said, blow the horn, blow the horn.
Sound the shofar.
Yeah.
I love this. You can knock the horse out with this.
Huh.
This makes a sound that scares people.
It's an alarm.
When my nephew, because my nephew Noah blows this, he's the appointed one. He's like Samuel.
Yeah.
Samuel was in the
Yeah.
temple.
Yeah.
His job was to open up the trays, so the
Yeah.
curtains, right? But that's his job. When he blows it, the cat runs. Last night, the cat knows she's not supposed to go in your room, Ema. She heard this. He heard this. Ran up in there and was hiding. Wouldn't come out the room. A neighbor of mine said, "Hey, every morning, early in the morning, sometimes late at night, I hear it's not a trumpet, but it sounds like it's something real loud." I ain't saying nothing. I'm laughing because I want it. This is something that I delight in, right? These are the works of God, and this is the effect of the works of God. So it's a delight to me. She said, "Wow, that sounds scary. It sounds like it's coming from the roof." I said, "Yeah, I'll be hearing it too." Nobody knows what that thing is. Yeah. Imagine 1 million people coming at you after you hear one of those. The ones they have wrong.
Oh, yeah.
See, everything God do is for an effect. He told the people, be quiet for a whole week.
Yeah.
I can't be quiet for an hour.
Word.
I'll forget.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got to go tell Mark something. Oh.
Messed up already.
See, we got so much stuff going on in our lives. Well, it's going to be hard for you to make yourself holy. So you got to detach a lot of things that's going on. You got to give up a lot of things.
Sacrifice.
And sacrifice. We can't sacrifice animals today.
No.
There's nowhere to take them.
That's right. No priest.
There is no priest that can make an atonement.
That's right. No temple.
I cannot go and inquire. Okay? But I can give up.
Sacrifice your ways.
I can give up what God don't like
That's right.
and what I like.
What you like.
And what I like that God says okay.
That's right.
Y'all know that, right? I can give up things. They say, "Hey, but that's not against the law." Yeah, but look. I don't give up. I gotta give up some things that I like now. To show God I'm on his side.
Prove yourself.
Okay.
Prove yourself.
Sometimes I gotta make myself uncomfortable
Okay.
to show God I'm on his side.
Get comfortable.
And that's what wearing the sackcloth is all about.
Yeah.
That's what wearing the sackcloth. They call it burlap. It's itchy. It makes you hot, even when you're in the cold.
Makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They make robes out of it. But David slept in it and covered himself in it and had a robe in it.
That's right.
They made themselves uncomfortable because we owe God. He made it comfortable at the beginning. Our fathers didn't want that. The Adam and Eve didn't want that. Our fathers didn't want that. And we don't want that.
That's right.
We like following people.
Mhm.
That's our problem.
Instead of
That
following
was
the Most
their
High.
problem. You got your own thing. You got the true and living God, the living God. There's only one, and you got him in your corner. All you gotta do is don't follow what them people do.
That's it.
All you gotta do is don't eat what they eat.
That's it.
It ain't hard. Many people have done it. The greats, we read about the greats.
Right.
The greats are the ones that serve God, that God commended, that God accepted
Right.
and recognized.
Abraham, Isaac, Jacob,
That's right.
Moses.
All we got to do is
Samuel,
read these people.
Samuel.
And then he said, look, out of all of them, he said, follow Abraham.
That's right.
Because Abraham did not do nothing that an Israelite could say, well, Abraham did this.
Yeah. Nothing.
Well, Abraham had an image in his bed.
That's right.
Never.
Well, Abraham did this. Well, he did this. He did that. He said, follow Abraham.
Right.
That's right.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
I told you
Rock
which
was
one
yours,
to
yeah.
follow. He
Right.
didn't even say follow Moses. He said,
Abraham,
follow
the
Abraham. He said,
pioneer.
look, and this is later on in the prophecy. He said, look towards the rock
Which
from
you
whence
use.
you come from. You
Right.
come from a rock, man. You come from a strong rock, man. A godly rock.
Yeah.
That's right.
Why don't you just look towards it
Mhm.
and make yourself accept this?
That's right.
Sarah
Yeah.
is the woman's
That's right.
example.
That's right.
Mm.
But we don't want to follow Abraham and Sarah.
No.
Uh-huh.
We wouldn't follow
We want to follow Absalom. He made a pillar.
Yeah.
You know, you want to do these other things, and these things that they did, I don't criticize these people. A lot of things that they did were made by examples for us
Yeah.
as a testament.
That's right.
These people were the example of what God
That's right.
requires
We can't step in
of a
his
people to
shoes.
turn correct.
That's right.
So it's not for me to judge them,
That's right.
okay? I just know, okay, he did that, God didn't like it, I don't do it.
That's
That's
right.
right.
That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
Those are my fathers, those are my mothers,
Right.
okay? Those are my fathers and those are my mothers.
That's right.
Don't speak bad about none of them.
That's right.
Right.
You look up to them.
That's right.
You follow them.
The audacity.
Icon.
Mhm.
He took a foreign apparel,
Yeah.
a garment that is not worn by Israel.
That's right.
That was not, nobody wears this in Israel.
Right.
Let's just say that.
That's right.
Everybody want to get descriptions of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't
The
this.
book don't give it.
It wasn't this.
Yeah.
Okay? You didn't see anything else when you first got here, or over there, or to that camp. So everything outside that is foreign apparel. He took that and he took a wedge of gold. God said, now see, you messed up, Swim.
Take nothing.
He had the foreign apparel on, right? And then he took God's gold. God said all the 10, all the metals, all the precious metals, which is gold, silver, brass, tin, all of these things, God said is mine. So what they were supposed to do is get that stuff together and they take it where? To the tabernacle.
That's right.
It's the treasury.
That's right.
It's the treasury.
Mm-hmm.
And that belonged to God. God claimed it. God said, yo, all that stuff in here, that's mine. I gave y'all stuff already.
That's right.
I been gave y'all stuff. Y'all ain't even had to build it.
Uh-huh.
You ain't had to plan it.
Uh-huh.
You just moved in.
Facts.
Egyptians
Yo,
gave
we
you
had it
gold.
easy, man.
You made a cash.
Imagine right now the Most High gather all Israelites and take them back over here. It's not going to happen. I'm just saying, imagine. We're going to die in the land of our enemies, like God said. But it's okay. No matter where you die,
We accept
Die.
the punishment.
faithful to God's commandments.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Don't die in your unfaithfulness,
And you will live.
and you will live again.
That's right.
Township.
I am the Lord your God, which sanctify you. For everyone that curseth his father or his mother shall be surely put to death.
Oh, wow.
He had cursed his father or his mother, his blood shall be upon him.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
Gotta watch your mouth.
That's right.
Curse ain't, when you say curse, we're not talking about the word
Profanity.
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 No.
That came after,
That's right.
okay? I'll tell y'all something about those profanity words. They all have a meaning.
Yes, they do.
They were made up by heathens.
That's right.
That's why we shouldn't be using them.
Okay.
That's why it's called profane words. Profanity comes from the word profane.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
You know the main curse, the F word? It means to have sex in German.
That's right.
That's what it means.
Fornicate under the
Germans made that word up, and that's what they used to have sex. And the reason why it's a profane word is look how you use it. Okay? And it's heathens that made that word up. that didn't exist in Israel. A lot of things didn't exist in Israel, and we
Adapted to.
love.
We love.
We adapted. We take it upon ourselves. We love it. We like monkeys, man.
Just followers.
Not gorillas. Not even baboons. Monkeys, the bottom of the simian totem pole. Tamshi.
And the man that committed adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death.
This is a very popular thing in the world. From back then, trying to get another man's wife. For the wicked, it's stripes. It's a badge of honor. For the wicked, it's a badge of honor. Whoredom, being promiscuous, having sex out of wedlock, is a badge of honor in the rap world. I take your girl. I take your man. You ain't gotta take me. I can have both of you. Oh man.
I like
I
that.
could be your wife. I could be your husband. I could be your husband.
That's right.
But you want to be like the men so much, and the men are committing adultery. Now the woman want to do the same thing, but I'm good. See, you got to read these laws so you can understand, and that's what's happening now. And there's no trust for it to be going on like that. Even back then, it was happening. Even back then, that's why God said, no, man, the penalty is death. Shall surely be put to death. The adulterer, which is the man, and the adulteress, which is the woman. Because in this country, the man get it, the woman don't get it. I didn't mean to do it, baby. You just neglected me. I know, baby, I know, but I'm going to kill you.
Wow.
That.
It's not right at all.
That's why God says, see, if she committed adultery, she got to die. And that's why when God said you marry a woman and you find some uncleanness in her, it's something there that, I tell you not to do it and you keep doing it. I tell you about this commandment and you keep breaking it. These are the things I will break up with you for. I will give you the right now. You can't be bringing this in my house. You bring this in my house, you getting thrown out with it.
That's right.
Because you're going to get me jammed up. I'm not getting jammed up with nobody. I don't have to get jammed up with nobody. God didn't make me to get jammed up with nobody.
Right.
How about that one?
Right.
And that's how we got to think with everything, man. People are also obstacles to each other. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You could be with a person that's holding you back from serving God.
Yeah.
God, do something about that. Yeah. Okay? So committing adultery, stop. What brings adultery is whoredom. You're so busy having sex, you're going to mess up and commit adultery. Man and woman. Israel. Y'all think it don't happen, huh? All right.
Yeah.
Time sheet.
And the man that lied with his father's wife had uncovered his
You
father's
can't be
nakedness.
looking at your father's wife. That means my mother. Okay, so that means Abba got two women.
Right?
My father's wife.
It's not his mother. Right.
Okay? Plain and simple. I can't be looking at her. Me and her might be around the same age.
Could happen that
It
way.
happens. Okay? I could be older than her. I'm 30 years old. She's 28. I can't be looking at her. Remember,
That's right.
Reuben.
That's right.
Reuben did that.
Yeah.
It said it was told Jacob.
That's right.
Never said who told him.
Told him. Huh?
I read in other books that say who told him, but that don't count.
Yeah.
Because it never mentioned who
Stick
told
to
him.
Genesis.
Somebody told him.
Yeah.
And he never said nothing about it. You know that? You never, you kept quiet.
Nope. Yeah.
To the end.
Until
Yeah.
To the end.
it was time to give out the blessing.
He's unstable as water.
So you unstable as water, meaning you're too horny all the time. That's what it means. Unstable as water. Your hormones is out of control, out of whack. You don't have no self-control. Water take it, and I put it in my hand. Will it stay in one place?
No.
That's what he called Reuben. You're not solid. And then he looked at Levi and Simeon. The only thing he said about them, he said, cursed be your counsel. He cursed them two being around each other. Okay? Because he said, when y'all get together in your anger, Levi and Simeon, those two tribes have a history of blood, but they're more vicious than the rest of the tribes. They'll kill you quick with God. Okay? Facts. They'll kill you quick. Quicker than Levi. You see what the sons of Levi did, right? So all the sons of Levi, what they did, they went through and started hitting everybody up. Oh, what the man hitting up? My brother? Oh, wow. I ain't gonna hit my brother or my mother, but you gonna do it. Nobody escapes. Time sheet.
Both them, he hath uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
But did he actually look at his father's nakedness? No.
His woman
That's his
is
woman. His woman is his possession. Her nakedness is his nakedness.
That's right.
So Noah's wife was not in the tent.
Okay.
Fact. We didn't share tents with our women back then.
That's right.
Okay? Everybody had their own tent.
That's right.
Jacob's wife said, hey, you're going to come to my tent tonight.
That's right.
Appointment.
That's right.
I'm making an appointment.
Yeah.
I got these mandates. You got to come to my tent. She never said, I'm going to pull up to your tent.
No.
They can't go to his tent.
That's right.
Because it can't get bad.
That's right. Teach.
Because of the law.
Right.
A woman cannot have anything in the manner of or concerning anything or possession of a man.
That's right.
So my cup, we can't share my cup.
That's right.
Right.
There's no universal cup.
We don't share the same utensils.
Men's and women's.
I don't. You can't put my slippers on and run downstairs and get the man.
No.
It's just the things he does.
That's right.
All right. Yep. And that goes for a tool, a utensil. I said utensil. Utensil cover everything in the kitchen that you use to eat with and mix with. He said a thing. A thing is anything besides these.
Exactly.
This covers anything
Everything
else, miscellaneous, whatever.
Yeah.
An instrument.
Wow.
You can't even mess with my instrument. Okay? He said weapon. Article. Artifact. Article is paper. The article is my paperwork.
Yeah.
I got my notes here.
No.
She can't have my notes. She gotta have her own notes. It said vessel.
Yep.
Bowl. It said container, dress, or garment. We don't share nothing. Time sheet.
And if a man lie with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have brought confusion.
That's supposed to be your daughter-in-law. By the law of marriage, that's your daughter. That's why it's called daughter-in-law. Daughter in the laws of marriage. Son in the law of marriage.
Right.
I'm supposed to treat you like my son.
Yeah.
And you are supposed to treat me like I'm your father.
Right.
Now, if you don't honor your father that much, I'm not getting that.
What you expected? Yeah.
I'm not getting that. And this is all the things that got to get straightened out. In the heathen world, it's common for the mother-in-law to be an enemy.
Yeah.
Right or wrong?
Yeah.
It's in jokes and everything.
Yes,
You know, it's on shows. Oh, my mother's coming over. Oh, man, I hate your mother.
Yeah.
All this got to be eradicated.
That's right.
Time sheet.
That's mom's.
Their blood shall be upon them. If a man also lie with mankind as he lied with a woman.
That's homosexuality.
That's right.
Let's make this clear. We don't condone it, tolerate it.
At all.
It's not in our circumference.
At all.
There's
no to each his own.
there is no to each his own.
No.
There is no, well, what you do in the bedroom is you. None of that.
No.
None of that. Because God got laws for sex.
Yes.
Sexual laws. And this is
Order of
prohibited. Woman and woman, man and man,
Abomination.
human being and animal,
Abomination.
human being and toy.
Abomination.
Oral. Oral. No, I'm running it down.
Main one.
You just cut me off. I'm running it down. Hold on. Orgies. More than one sex partner at the same time. You heard Chief Shaman say it earlier, oral sex.
Oral.
Giving or receiving. Anal sex. I think I covered it all.
They made oral normalized now.
Okay. They got people thinking it's impossible. Like, they say, well, I ain't into that. I don't do that. What? Nah, he lying.
Yes, normal.
I heard Israelites say that. He said, why you can't do it? No, you can't do that. What makes you think you can do that? You read that over here? Have you been listening to teachings? Can't get into that, man. Gotta leave that alone. We weren't freaks.
That's right.
We were not freaks.
That's right.
And freaking all in sexual lascivious. We wasn't doing that. We wasn't that. All that stuff is worship to another God.
That's right.
Okay? Time sheet.
Both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. And if a man take a wife and her mother, it is wickedness.
What you looking at moms for? Sometimes moms be looking at you. You gotta watch that. You with a woman and the mother trying to get with you in the sneak. It's going down. Listen, it's happening, y'all. God ain't put this here for nothing. This is what evil people will think of to do. And he said, you, Israel, don't do it.
That's right.
He never told them not to do it. Why God never gave the heathen commands not to do it? Go home and think about that. There's a reason why. Time sheet.
It is wickedness. They shall be burnt with fire, both he and they, that there be no wickedness among you.
This particular sin, you get burnt with fire. You just don't get stoned, but you get burnt. Both parties get burnt with fire.
Yeah.
Time sheet.
And if a man lie with a beast,
Bestiality.
he shall surely be put to death, and you shall slay the
You
beast.
can't leave the beast around either.
You're corrupt.
It's just corrupt.
Yeah.
Turn it down.
Right. That's the beast one now.
He's gonna be coming after
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
All this is what they was doing with Baal Peor, y'all know.
Yeah.
Y'all know that, right?
Or the rituals.
It was animals was involved also.
Right.
Time sheet.
And if a woman approach unto any beast and lie down thereto, thou shalt kill the woman and the beast. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
Women running up on animals too. Dogs and stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
Laying down with dogs,
Poor little
horses,
poop.
and animals.
Catherine.
All this stuff is forbidden by
Poor
God.
little poop.
He said, their death, their blood shall be upon them. Nobody's going to have to answer for your blood. Kill them. God said kill them. You can kill them. Back then you could. You can't do that now.
Yeah.
Time sheet.
And if a man shall take his sister, his father's daughter.
So that is his sister. Okay? Not the same mother, but the same father. That's not your stepsister.
That's
Your
right.
sister.
That's your sister.
That's right.
That's not your stepbrother.
Yeah,
That's
right.
your brother.
Your
That's not
half-brother.
your stepmom.
Your half.
That's
Or
right.
your stepdad. There's no step because the step leaves room for stuff like
Yeah,
this.
there you go. Yeah, there you go.
No. Do y'all? No. Listen, I'm gonna say it again. Okay, it leaves room for this to go
That's
in.
right. Yeah.
This is the things that the Canaanites were doing. These were specific things that they was doing, and God hated them so bad He wanted them wiped out early. God didn't wipe out the Egyptians like that. He hit them. He visited them. Hit them, took down in Pharaoh, but they still thrived, still existed, was never the same again. But these guys, they eat dead animals. They find a dead animal, they take it, they eat it. They may have sex with it before they eat it. These people are different. These Canaanites come from Ham. What Ham did, what Noah did, he cursed Canaan. Okay? This is why those people came out like that. Okay? This is why Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and all their wives did not want their sons marrying into a Canaanite. That's why. They had very bad habits that were against God. They lay down with each other, incest, they eat anything. They had sex with anything. They were nature lovers. That's where it comes from. All that stuff is worship of these idols. Tom, we can
his father's daughter or his mother's daughter,
Uh-huh.
and see her nakedness, and she see his nakedness.
Mm-mm.
It is a wicked thing.
Yeah.
And they shall be cut off in the sight of their people. He hath uncovered his sister's nakedness. He shall bear his iniquity.
Uh-huh.
And if a man shall lie with a woman having her
Her
sickness,
sickness is her menstrual cycle, her period. Okay? Guys like running red lights. That's what they call it. Running red lights. It's a nasty thing to do.
Mhm.
And it's an abomination. And when that act is done, it's in worship to the devil himself. The devil has rules that say for you to have sex this way. Y'all don't even know that. This is why God say not to do certain things. Because that guy has people who made rules to live this way. Don't you?
and shall uncover her nakedness. He had discovered her fountain,
Uh-huh.
and she had uncovered the fountain of her blood.
She's not supposed to be exposed to no man. That's why I said her fountain is uncovered. Where the blood is coming from is not supposed to be seen, viewed, or come nowhere near. That's why she's separated for herself. She had her own tent beside her tent that she regularly stay in. When she becomes Nida, which is unclean, she goes to the Nida tent,
Right.
where everything in that tent is unclean already.
Right.
Because once she sit on something that's unclean, there's no way of getting
It
it back
stays
clean.
unclean.
It stays unclean. He said it shall be for her
Her
uncleanness
separation.
or her separateness.
That's right.
It belongs to her now. She uses that when she's unclean.
That's right.
You ever watched I Love Lucy?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the bedroom where they slept in?
Two different beds.
2 beds.
Yeah.
Back then, everybody slept that way. Today, the man and the woman sleep in the bed. This is why there's problems also in the marriage.
Yeah.
Too familiarity, too much familiarity. Too much breathing in each other's face. You get too familiar. You get emotional. You see how different we lived? Even our sleeping arrangements was different. Time sheet.
And both of them shall be cut off from among their people.
Uh-huh.
And thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, nor of thy father's sister, for he uncovered his near kin. They shall bear their iniquity.
That's family. All that is near kin. It's close. It's family. This is God said you can't be doing that. Father's sister and your mother's sister. Time sheet.
And if a man shall lie with his uncle's wife, he hath uncovered his uncle's nakedness. They shall bear their sin. They shall die childless. And if a man shall
That's your auntie.
That's
Well, you said Titi, right?
That's Titi.
That's Titi. That's your aunt.
Titi off limits.
Time sheet.
and if a man shall take his brother's wife, it is an unclean thing. He hath uncovered his brother's nakedness. They shall be childless.
Ooh. We ain't never gonna have kids. It's the reason why a lot of people can't have kids. Maybe this is one of them. This is judgments. Time sheet.
Ye shall therefore keep all my statutes
Uh-huh.
and all my judgments
Uh-huh.
and do them,
And do them.
that the land whither I bring you to dwell therein spew you not out. And you shall not walk in the manners of the
This is the
nation.
kicker. After this, I'm coming down.
And
This is the kicker right here. Verse 23.
and ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation.
To
Which
walk is to follow after, to do the same as, to follow the rules of the people who serve a deity, okay, a false god. You just, there's no idol in here, no. But the way you're living the same way as the people who serve that idol. That's how you walk in the manners of the nation. The manners is their behavior in life. That's what the manners mean. Their behavior in life. That cover their doings, their beliefs, their ideas, their desires, their goals. And what you just said, brother? Their ways.
Yes.
Okay? He said, you shall not walk in the manners of the nation which I cast out before you. He didn't say nations. He said nation. Specifically, God is talking about the Canaanites.
Right. Yeah.
They were the worst. God let Moab stay. He let Ammon stay. Those guys not all good with God either. But these guys here, read Leviticus 18.
Right.
And it didn't tell you what they did. He said, God said, because these guys that was here before you, they did all these abominations. Therefore, the land spewed them out. And if you come and you do the same thing, the land will spew you out. Just read it. I will bring you to dwell therein, and the land spew you not out. Ye shall not walk in the manners of the nations, which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I hated them.
That's right.
Abhors to hate.
That's right.
They did all this stuff, and I hated them. So our job is not to be hated.
Facts by the Most High.
By the Most High, but following the nations.
That's right.
Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem.
Call up the next teacher indeed. Around the Shabbat off, Prince Zachariah.
Remember fire coming off of this platform. It's hot right now. Giving all honor and praise to the Most High God, who sitteth in the seat of judgment, whose throne is inestimable, the Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings, the high and lofty one who inhabiteth eternity, who has no counselor and none to consort with him, he who has reigned from the beginning, before any creature was formed or any green shoot shot forth, before the foundations of the earth were laid, before the legions of angels first assembled. Yea, he who possessed wisdom ere the waters were parted asunder, or the winds of the firmament ever blew. He alone, the dreaded one, did reign, still reigns, and shall reign over all things forever. From everlasting to everlasting, El Shaddai, the Almighty God, the creator of all life, who made man in his own image, to whom he gave a heart of flesh, and has imparted him with the 5 operations of Elohim, eyes to see, ears to hear, smell and taste, that he might enjoy the pleasures of eating and drinking, whereby he may obtain strength and healing from the foods and medicines of the earth that he made for him. And feeling also, both to the touch and in the inward parts, to know what was in his heart, whether he would serve Elohim his maker or no. And besides these, he endowed him with good sense and reason, and speech to interpret the things that are seen and heard, that he might comprehend and articulate his thoughts, becoming fully aware, possessing the power to make sound decisions. And in his abounding loving kindness, he granted him understanding, yea, and knowledge also, that he might have withal to pursue the things that are pleasing to the Lord and depart from evil. He to whom all honor, worship, and praise is due, the omnipotent God, God of the Hebrews, who made the sea and the dry land, the God of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, the God of Israel, the true and living God, the author of love, time, life, and sound, who spake, and it was created. For all things are done at the words of his mouth, who breathed life, the one spirit, into our first father Adam, from whom we all are come to the world, which he made for the serving, nurturing, and nourishment of man, his most precious creation, to whom he gave his most righteous law, for righteousness belonging to him alone, who is just in all things, who keep his covenant and mercy with them that love him, and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations, even to the seed of his love, Abraham, even to us, the children of Israel, Ben Isaac and Maccabim, sons of the ancient Maccabees. For he is our God, the ancient of days, for before the day was, is he. The God of the spirits of all flesh, El Quanah, the jealous God, El Rakum, the merciful God, El Rapah, the God of healing, the one and only true healer, Hagadol, the great, Hagibor, the mighty, Hanorah, and the terrible, Elohim Zebaot, the Lord of hosts is his name. He is the King of glory. Blessed be the glorious name of his kingdom forever and ever. For he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. Giving due respect to the chief men, princes, dignitaries, officers, mothers in Israel, brothers and sisters, I stand before you this day, Prince Zachariah, a title bestowed upon me by the order of Chief of Chiefs Eleazar, Ben Lewi, Ben Dodo, aka Matitya, father of the house of the Maccabees, my teacher and leader, in whose honor I speak and continue the legacy of his name, works, and teachings in the name of our God, and the holy law given us at the mouth of his prophet Moshe, reinstituted by and in accordance with the protocol set forth by Nasi Yaakov, head knock of all the Hebrews, teacher, leader, and founder of Ben Isaac, the first Hebrew Israelite congregation in the United States of America, whither we have been exiled because of our sins and the sins of our fathers, whom our God commissioned to bring his people together to the intent that he might open our eyes and give us ears to hear and a heart to perceive as it is at this day, so that we may keep his commandments, return to him, and repair the breach. I bid you in the ancient tongue of our father, Shabbat Shalom Aleichem.
Shabbat Shalom Aleichem.
We have a lot to cover in a short time, so I'm going to be moving around a little bit. The first place I want to go is Genesis chapter 3. But before I dive into the chapter, before we dive into the chapter, I want to touch on something that I mentioned last night. And for those that didn't tune in, we were in Deuteronomy chapter 6, specifically verse,
Deuteronomy chapter 6.
yeah, and we're gonna leave off when we started. I'm gonna start where we left off.
Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse
10.
Deuteronomy chapter 6.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Start from verse 6.
Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 6. And these words which I command you this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt
What do you
talk.
mean these words shall be in thine heart? And first of all, which words is he talking about? Because he just ran through the 10 commandments. And he start by saying, these words which I command thee. These are commandments he's talking about. The previous chapter, Deuteronomy 5, runs through the 10 commandments.
Mm-hmm.
And right after, Moses says, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might.
Mm-hmm.
And these words, which I command thee this day, shall be in thine heart. And thou shalt teach them.
Diligent.
Tom Sheet, verse 7.
And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, when thou risest up.
So this wasn't just the Shema Israel, El Shaddai, Eloheinu, El Shaddai, Echad. El Shaddai, Eloheka, Echad, Lebaka, Echad, Hashem, Echad, Me'odeka. And that's what you're going to teach your children, just to repeat over and over? And that's going to help us remember the commandments to serve God? No. It's the 10 commandments that he's speaking in reference to, that we must teach our children by oral repetition. The word for teach diligently is Weshinantam. And thou shalt teach them diligently, and thou shalt teach by oral repetition.
That's right. That's right.
You know why it's oral repetition? Because they didn't have a book. In order, the best way for us to comprehend the words in this book is to answer these 4 questions every time you read. Who is speaking? Who are they speaking to? Where are they? And what time era did this take place in? Then you won't say God said when it was David's words. Mm-hmm. Then you won't say God said when it was Jeroboam's words. Mm-hmm. And we know these whole first 5 books came out of the mouth of God to Moses while he was up in the mount. Okay. For 80 days, 40, and then he came down, broke the tablets, and went right back up for another 40. And if you think Moses was up in the mountain defecating, you got something coming. Moses wasn't eating either.
No, he wasn't. That was his food.
That's right. You face to face with the source of life.
What?
What you need sustenance with. Sustenance for.
Talk that talk.
And you better not make excrement in that mountain, because that mountain was holy.
That mountain was holy. That's right. Take your shoes off.
That's right.
That's right.
So all that time, God gave him these words and spoke word for word these first 5 books.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you quote the first 5, you are speaking the words of God. You know how powerful that is?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's why we must learn this language.
That's right.
We must learn to speak these words in the language that God spoke to Moses.
That's right.
The whole point of going over these verses that we're into right now is for us to understand that words have power.
That's right. True story. Meaning and power. That's right.
We were taught certain things in English, the way the English language was developed, because it's a mixture of languages. Some call it the bastard tongue.
That's right.
Some call it the vulgar tongue.
Facts.
And it stems from Latin, German, French, and it came up with English.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a few Hebrew words in English. Do you know that if you look in every single language on the earth, you will find a Hebrew word in that language?
That's right.
And that don't tell you that Hebrew was first.
Copacetic.
Copacetic, copacetic.
Say it again.
Copacetic, copacetic.
That's right.
It means all is in order.
That's right.
Copacetic.
That's right.
That's right.
And every single language has a Hebrew word. I haven't studied all languages, but I ran into a few in every single language that has a reference.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you another example. In Spanish,
Talk about it.
what's the day for Saturday, Iman? Sábado. Oh, it sounds like it comes from Shabbat, Sabbath.
Right.
Sabbath. That's right.
Yeah.
So even when they came up with Spanish, which was derived also from Latin,
Mm-hmm.
they understood that
Right.
the seventh day of the week, which we call Saturday, was the Sabbath.
Right.
And we can't see that God's order is set in the foundation. The order of life is set in the language. All things stem from that. So
That's right.
by that, these words have power because they came out of the mouth of God. And those same words is what he used to create the heavens and the earth. And those same words is what he gave us, this holy and righteous and perfect law. By speaking these words, it does something to your spirit.
Right.
Because he says, Veshinantam libaneka, and you shall teach them to your sons or to your children. Vedibarta bam, and you shall talk of them or speak of them. Bishpiteka, in your house. I mean, when thou sittest, bishbiteka bibeteka. When thou sittest in thy house. Ublekteka baderek. When thou walkest by the way.
6.
Ubshakbeka ubkumeka. When thou liest down and when thou risest up. Why did God tell us to speak of these words? Because that sounds like every day.
Every day.
And that sounds like throughout the day.
Throughout the day.
Because when you walk by the way, when you go outside, when you're sitting in your house,
That's right.
when you lie down, when you lie down, when you rise up.
Mhm.
I knew a man like that one time. I knew a man that used to speak about God and talk about God and entertain himself with the words of this book. From the time he woke up to the time he closed his eyes. Listen, past the time he closed his eyes, because the tapes be playing with Alexander Scorby while he's sleeping. Chief Eleazar, our teacher, our father, our leader,
Ooh.
Shemo. And this is evident in the law that we're reading right here, that if God commanded us to teach them diligently to our children, teach them by oral repetition to our children,
Mhm.
what do you think? God gave us laws for tokenism?
No.
God gave us laws just because he want to see you moving and walking around like a robot? No, these words have power. And when you speak these words, it's going to have an effect on your spirit. So as I'm teaching my children, it's not only going to affect them, it's going to have an effect on me. Because like I mentioned last night, the sound of your own voice is the most influential sound in the world to you.
Yes, it is.
More so than your own mother's voice. And why I say that with such confidence, because even as a child, that baby, oh man, he used to warm up only to the mother. Hear the mother's voice, the baby hush, the baby stop crying. Right? Somebody else try to hush the baby, it ain't gonna work. Let the mother come in and say something. He ain't gotta be holding the baby, and the baby hush immediately. The baby feel comforted by the sound of the mother's voice. But you know why I say our voice has more impact and influence on us than our own mother's voice? Because after a certain time, we get too big for our britches and we grow up and we stop listening to our mothers. We depart from the law of our mother, like Solomon told us we should not.
You make that choice.
Right. And so now her voice is not the most influential, and God knows this. The voice in your head is the most influential. And when the spirit of sin come to you, it don't come in a voice of a demon. It come in your voice. When the spirit of wisdom don't come to you, it don't come with harps and bells singing. It comes in your voice.
Right.
And so God knew this. And he knew. By the way, when he said the Lord spoke to Moses, nobody else heard it. Only Moses heard it. That's why he had to tell the people what God said.
Right.
The only time they heard it is at the foot of Mount Sinai.
Right.
When God came down in thunder and darkness and lightning and earthquake. And then they heard his voice. And after that, it was, and the people said it too. They said, oh no, let not God speak with us, lest we die. You go talk to him, Moses, and we're going to do everything he said. And I ain't going to say they was lying. They did lie, but I ain't going to say they was lying. They said that because they was afraid.
They feared.
They was afraid. So they said, we do everything you said. Just like if you put a gun to somebody's head, he going to do whatever you say. Ain't that right? They fear for their life. She was afraid. That's right. So God saw that fear and he said, oh, that there was such a heart in them, that they would fear me and keep my commandments always. But he knew that that heart wasn't in us because we so far gone in corruption. And he saw the generation that came out of Egypt that they didn't believe God. You want to know how you know they didn't believe God? And this is not to point the finger or blame them, but we must be able to put ourselves in their shoes. They came out of Egypt and they grew up learning witchcraft and sorcery was normal. You know, was Pharaoh moved when Moses threw his rod down and turned into a serpent? He said,
What's that?
hey, Janus, Jambri, go do your work. Show them what you could do. And they said, that ain't nothing. They do the same thing. Check it out. We did the same thing.
We can match that.
Yeah, we do more here. We make fire come out too. It ain't nothing. And so those type of things were normal in the sight of the people of that generation that lived in Egypt.
That's correct.
And God knew this. That's why he gave him certain signs to show. Because when he put his hand in his garment and brought it out and it was leprous, it takes the priest of Egypt to be able to heal, and he got to do a ritual. But Moses took it, put it in again, and took it back out, and it was healed like this. And that's to show the power of God is greater than the gods of Egypt.
Facts.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so while we're coming out of Egypt and Moses parts the Red Sea, and Moses parts the Red Sea,
Right.
because this is also something that we need to understand, that God made us powerful
That's right.
beings, powerful. Man is powerful, created in the image of God.
That's right.
Moses got to the water and he said, you stand still this day. You're going to see what God going to do for us. And God turned around and said, what you waiting on me for? You got the rod in your hand. Stretch it forth.
You Moses.
And he said, you do it. And Moses did it. And that's God showing. And don't say, well, I ain't Moses. Because then you ain't never going to be like unto Moses.
Yeah. Talk to them.
Don't say, oh, man, I ain't got the strength of King David. Because you ain't never going to have the strength of King David.
Don't say these
Right. Talk
But we hold ourselves back. We limit ourselves, not only through the works of our hands, like my other two teachers taught us last week, that we don't only limit yourself by the works of your hands, by how much law you are doing or not doing, rather say, but you limit yourself with the words of your mouth.
Words are powerful.
If you tell a child he's stupid every day,
He just don't believe it.
he's going to believe you, and he's not going to be smart.
Brainwash.
We have to speak life into each other, speak life to ourselves.
That's right.
And you do that with these words. These words is to build you, not tear you down. When we're teaching the law, we're not singling out our brothers that ain't keeping it. We're pulling their coats. This is all out of love. We're not saying we better, we know more than you, because we learn the law the same way anybody comes to learn.
Okay.
With simplicity of heart. You don't come to school in the math class and say, I don't know about that, teacher. I don't want to do it that way. I got a different way to do it. I'm going to figure it out my way. And let's see if you pass the math class. So what make you think, and that's amongst men in the school curriculum that is most corrupt. And you think you're going to come to God and figure it out and do it your way, and you still going to pass the class? You still going to pass the test? This is the ultimate test. This is the test of life. This fleshly life is the test and the trial to see who believes God. If he finds you worthy, because whether you believe him or not is whether he's going to find you worthy. Right. He told Moses in Numbers 16 to tell the people, tomorrow you're going to find out who is the Lord's.
Teach.
He said, and he will cause him to draw near to him whom he has chosen. How you think you get chosen by God? By following our own mind, our own heart, our own ways, following the opinions of other men that have a like opinion to mine, that have like spirit to mine, because we don't want to change, we don't want to conform to what God said is right. You think that's how we're going to get favor with God and be chosen?
Right.
It said many are called, but few are chosen. I think we don't understand what that means. We think the many is the people of the world, and we are all the chosen ones, because we got fringes on. And we keep Shabbat day. Do you really keep Shabbat day, though?
Talk to
Just showing up to teachings is not keeping Shabbat. Just tuning in online is not keeping Shabbat. There's rules to this day.
That's right.
They start from last night.
It starts from sundown. That's right. He said from even to even shall you celebrate your Sabbaths. And it said the same thing in Hebrew.
Celebrate. That's right.
That's right. Observe, keep.
That's right.
So this is something that we have to be in tune with the book. So how am I going to teach by oral repetition to my children if I don't read the book? You see, they heard Moses speaking one time. After that, they had to repeat it over and over to remember it.
Okay.
That's why he said teach by oral repetition, because that generation that came out of Egypt didn't have books. Moses wasn't around passing about, here go your Bible, here go yours. You get one too. Everybody want a copy, just come see me. No. He spoke it one time. And they had to remember it. And that's how it was left on the faithfulness of the heads of the houses and the fathers that assembled to the mount. Because that's who Moses called to the foot of the mount. Everybody else was behind. I spoke of that last night, and it was approximately 3 million people. Do the math. 600,000 footmen, double that. Each of them got a wife. Right? That's only from 20 to 50 years old. We live into about 120. So from 50 to 120, how many people is that? There were men, and then there were women.
And the children.
And then the children, there were 20. Exactly. And the parents that were not soldiers and men of war. Yeah, that too, all of them. So just do the math and let's think logically. Let's think for once and use our brain instead of being brainwashed and molded by what society teaches us and what you learn on the Science Channel and the History Channel and a TikTok. You gotta use this book as your foundation for all truth. That's how you're gonna find out certain things by reading and reading. Some people say, man, that ain't in there. Yeah, I'm gonna show you, it's in here. All you gotta do is take the evidence and start to think.
That's right.
If it tells you 600,000 footmen, you could do the math for the rest, because that wasn't the whole nation. And it was a mixed multitude.
That's right.
Along with Israelites that left Egypt. We still have a problem with that. He said, the mixed multitude fell a lusting. See, there you go. The mixed multitude, it's their fault, man. Oh, heathens. We came out as heathens. Do we know that? And when we left Egypt, we didn't know God.
Right.
He had to introduce himself to us. I am the Lord your God that brought you out of the land of Egypt. This wasn't a familiarity thing where we already knew who God was. We heard of him from our fathers, but we didn't worship him. We were worshiping the gods of Egypt. And if you don't see that, it's in the book. These be thy gods, O Israel, that brought you out of the land of Egypt, and they made it the mask of a calf. That's what it says in Hebrew.
That's right.
They found the altar that they built. It's at the foot of Mount Sinai. And why he said these be thy gods? Because in Egypt they worship multiple gods, and they carved pictures
Yeah.
of the bull, APIS, and what's the other name for the calf? And they carved it on the stone that they stacked up as an altar right at the foot of Mount Sinai.
Right.
So it wasn't just the golden calf. There was also those pictographs that were on the stones of the altar that they made for it.
Mm-hmm.
These be thy gods, O Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Egypt served multiple gods. Said that's
Right.
who we were coming out of Egypt. So he said, teach by all repetition. We're not far from those people. We was born and raised in America
Yeah.
or in the Americas, right?
That's
And now we have to teach by oral repetition to our children.
That's right.
So when your son grow up and he turn aside from this, whose fault you think it is?
Your parents' fault.
Hey, my fault. It's my fault.
That's
You
right.
think it's his fault?
No, it ain't.
We didn't teach by oral repetition.
No,
The only
it ain't.
reason why you come here and you find blades
That's
and
right.
men spitting fire out the law and carry it that way is because Chief was on us daily with
right.
this law. You could not escape.
Every day.
You could not escape.
No way you're gonna escape. No way.
Except the Bible.
And some men could take a little more heat than others.
That's true.
So some men stick closer to the fire. Some men depart a little bit. But our teachings remain the same. Now we're supposed to be drawn near and closer and closer and closer. I know y'all can relate to me on this. Ever since my father passed, I hear his advice in my head more now than when he was alive.
So, listen now.
I hear his voice in my head telling me things that he told me over and over again when he was alive that I didn't hearken to. And now it's jumping in my head more so now than it did when he was here. Why you think that is? They dropped jewels on us so that we can walk this way because they knew they're not going to be holding our hands forever.
That's right.
And now it's our job to walk that walk.
That's right.
Now it's your duty
That's right.
because honor goes beyond the grave.
Damn.
And I say this all the time. It tells us in the Apocrypha that it's Ecclesiasticus chapter 3. He said, the honoring of thy father,
Whoso honoreth his father,
Make
maketh
an
an
atonement
atonement for his
his iniquity.
iniquities. And he that honoreth his mother
is
is
as
one that
laid
lays up treasure.
The honoring of your father make atonement for sins. We don't have a priesthood.
No, we
You
don't.
can't bring your offering to make an atonement anymore.
Mm.
And if somebody tell you they're doing that, they are selling you dreams. Don't believe them.
It's some money here.
Oh, so we ain't got no Cohen, no high priest?
We have no priest.
Why we ain't got no
We have
Cohen?
no priest because God took the priesthood away from us because when we had it, we took advantage of it. We went aside and committed iniquity presumptuously and then brought an offering to the Most High into the temple to make an atonement, knowing that we're going to go back to it again tomorrow. Just because God gives you the way to make an atonement don't mean you're supposed to use it to your advantage to commit iniquity.
Right.
Come on, man.
And that's what we did. And God said, you think you could play me?
Yeah. My times.
You think you could take advantage of my mercy? That's what God showed us. No. You can't one up God.
Yeah.
Never.
Ever.
You either gonna get with it or you're gonna perish.
Facts.
And that's it. And that goes for all these laws. There's no shortcuts.
Cohen.
By the way, something else my father taught me. The shortcut is the long way.
That's right.
Always.
Always. Don't teach us.
Right.
You talking about, GPS telling me to go this way. Well, I'm gonna go this way because this is the shortcut. Next thing you run into an accident happened and it plugged up the highway and now you can't get through. Because you thought you knew the shortcut. Follow the path. Stay on the path. And you'll get there a lot quicker. That's with all things.
That's right.
Be diligent.
That's right.
These words have so much power that as you speak them, you are corralling your own spirit.
Talking to it.
Isaiah chapter 65. Can I get that real quick, brother? Isaiah chapter 65.
You're more red and you shave.
Chapter 1.
Chapter
Verse-
65. Start from the top.
Isaiah chapter 65. From the top. I am sought of them that ask not for me. I am found of them that sought me not. I said, behold me, unto a nation that was not called by my name.
Uh-oh.
And I spread out my hands
What do
all
you think that
day
mean? He was sought of them
that ask not
that
for me.
asked not for God. They weren't looking for God. They
Wasn't
weren't
looking
seeking
for him.
God.
Wasn't seeking him.
He said he was sought of them that did not inquire of him.
Mhm.
They was looking for God and didn't even know that they were seeking God.
Mhm.
Didn't even know.
They was seeking, but they didn't know that they was looking for the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Mhm.
And then what the next part say?
And spread out my hands all.
Wait, no. After that, right after that.
Behold me, behold me.
Wait a minute. I was sought of them that.
I am sought of them that ask not for me.
Uh-huh.
I am found of them that sought me not.
I found of them that sought me not. I was found by people that wasn't even seeking me.
Uh-huh.
Oh, ye wives, how you got here? Right?
That's right.
Because you met this man that God saw fit because he knew he was going to lead you this way. Like I always said, and you heard me say in the past few
That's
weeks,
right.
you ain't get here by accident.
Not at all. Okay. That's right.
God don't make mistakes.
No.
You know from your youth.
I tell my brother, I say, God sent you that woman. You don't believe that? He said, yeah. Well, what you think? Who else sent her? Who else sent her?
That has been blessed.
That has been blessed.
That has been blessed.
That's right. He said when a man taketh a wife, he found a good thing.
That's a blessing.
So we need to recognize that, like I always make reference to Proverbs 16, verse 9.
Right.
Man devises his way, but God directs his steps.
Every time.
He's in control of all things. And nothing happens for nothing. There are no accidents.
That's right.
There are no coincidences.
That's right.
The word coincidence is an oxymoron.
Right.
Coincidence is two different incidents coexisting.
Don't make sense.
Let's think about it. The English language, that's why I want to talk about the power of words today. The English language has us speaking in circles to where you can't find God, to where you can't identify with the true power that's in yourself. You walk around every day and say that morning is good. Morning is not good. You call the days of the week the days of the week.
Teach, man.
They're not called that. God didn't call it that. The name that he gave. Did you know that every single letter in Hebrew has a meaning? This is why brothers like to be with the etymology. The etymology. Let's talk about the etymology. Because the etymology will tell you what the word means.
That's right.
Every single letter has a meaning, and when you put it together, those shared meaning elements combine to give you the depth of what that meaning stands for. And this is called the logic of the Hebrew language.
Talk to me.
Go to work and earn.
Yeah, you earn a pay because you're killing yourself on the job.
Hey. Right.
Yeah.
Talk that
Words
talk.
have power.
Why? And listen, I don't want to hear it, but it's spelled differently. It sounds the same. Your spirit and your cells in your body don't know the difference because sounds carry a frequency.
Talk to me.
Did you know that the human body, they've done tests, man, your spine operates at a certain frequency. A healthy person operates at a certain frequency. It's like 428 and 528 on the Hertz scale, because everything is not tested in Hertz, but this type of frequency is tested in Hertz. Okay, and that type of frequency, if you adjust your body or you listen to sounds, that's why they have these healing things. Boom.
That's right.
That's why they got rid of all the bells.
Right,
You don't know that?
True story.
All the bells.
Because the bells make that sound that resonates with the
Vibration.
frequency of a healthy person.
Right.
And now you're able to think clearly.
That's right. They got rid of all the
They
bells.
know they do.
Throughout the country.
You don't even hear that sound no more.
Throughout the country.
I don't care if it was on a church. Even the people of the church knew that.
Uh-huh.
You don't think there's certain people that's outside of our way of life that learn certain things and apply it? Nikola Tesla followed the Egyptians to come up with Wi-Fi electricity.
That's right.
That's right.
And they killed him for it.
That's right.
Why? Because you can't charge somebody for electricity that's free floating through the air.
Right.
But if you put it in a wire, well, now I can charge you because all I got to do is cut off that wire right there and you have no electricity until you pay me.
That's right. That's
It's all about a means of control, man. It's all about a means of control. The saddest part is that we are walking in the ways of the people that hate us.
That's right.
Just to touch on what my brother said earlier about racism, that's a modern practice. Back then, they would discriminate against you just because you weren't of their nation. And you were the same color.
Okay.
Exactly.
You know, and you were from a different culture.
Jake,
So you don't know how we live. So it was a big thing when Jethro took Moses in.
The New Testament. was
Because they
talking
were Midianites,
about-
Right.
Where y'all get that
right? And so that was a big thing.
That's right.
And so, but again, who is Midian?
Okay.
from? Okay.
One of the grandson of Abraham.
That's right.
Teach.
That's right.
He
Teach.
come from the
That's
five that he
That's
had with
Joktan and Midian and
with one of-
Jokshan,
The kids
Ishbak,
he had with
Keturah.
the sons of
Sons
Keturah.
of Keturah.
Read that in
That's
detail.
right.
Read the book.
The sons of Keturah.
Hold up.
Daniel.
So these are things that we read and we still don't get it. Like you think Abraham's household was, first of all, say Abraham the Hebrew. The 318 servants he had weren't all Hebrews.
No.
There was of other nations.
That's right.
And he took them in and cared for them
That's right.
like they were his own children.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
These words have power. Words that you speak out of your mouth have power.
Yeah.
We only speak English. We may not speak Hebrew. See, my teacher taught us that if you're going to learn Hebrew, it's not to get up and sound pretty. It's not to go and have a conversation with the Jewish man and show him that, look, I know the language too.
I'm versed.
I could read, I could graduate your rabbinical school. No. It's for learning the law that we might serve God and find favor and return to him and find favor in his eyes.
That's right.
That's why we learn the Hebrew. So if you notice, when we're breaking down words, it's always a key in how to gain favor in the eyes of God.
Damn.
That's right.
Not to sound like we know something to build a house.
Smart guy. You all smart now.
No.
Smart guy.
And so this is the purpose of why we should be studying Torah in Hebrew, so that we can learn, like a lot of brothers say, that's not what God meant. Show me what he meant then. Show me in the book what God meant. Because the Hebrew will tell you what God meant.
That's right.
We gave some examples last night, right? About love, about what it means to love. And I don't care what language you read it in. God chastised those who he loved.
That's
right.
That's right.
God said, rebuke your neighbor. Thou shalt not hate thy neighbor in thy heart. Thou shalt surely rebuke him and not suffer sin on account of him.
That's love right there.
That's love. Correction
That's
is love. But you won't find that in the dictionary.
No, you
That's
won't.
right.
God said to them that love me and keep my commandments. You won't find obedience in the dictionary under love.
That's right.
God is the author of love. He teaches us what love is.
Hallelujah.
God is the author of every single concept that you could imagine. And he's going to teach you what it means through the words in this book.
Okay.
That's why he didn't know the law shall not be confounded. So when you read the law, you are learning God's judgment. You are learning God's perspective. You are learning the order of life that God set up for us to live by. That's what we're learning when we read the Hebrew, the Torah in Hebrew.
That's right.
And then you will understand the prophecy.
That's
And
right.
then you will understand Proverbs.
That's
And
right.
then you will understand David's, how deep and how heartfelt David was and wholehearted with God when you read the Psalms.
That's right.
Talk to me.
That's how we know if you're abandoned someone, you hate them.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
In that book.
That's what it means. That's why when we turn against him, what Chief Mikhail brought today, when you turn against God, this is how he depart from us. This is how he turned from us.
That's right.
Chief Shaw brought that.
That's right.
When we turn from God, this is where we show our hatred towards him. You reject him.
That's right.
We think insults come out of our mouth only. But he said, he that committed presumptuous iniquity, he said, by the way, in the Hebrew it says with a proud hand or with a high hand or lifted up hand.
That's right.
That is the logic of the Hebrew language. It's not that he's walking around like this with a high hand. No, it's that you lift yourself up above God and you do outside of the commandments. And that is you lifting yourself with a high hand above God
Thinking you better.
and
Thinking
above
you
your,
better.
above your brothers.
Thinking you better.
That's right. And he said the same reproaches the Lord. In the Hebrew it says he insults God.
Mhm.
You insult God
Mhm.
every time you sin presumptuously.
That's right.
And sometimes you ain't said a word out your mouth. Okay? So these words have power. Teach them diligently to thy children, and shall talk of them when thou sittest in the house, when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, when thou risest up, and shall bind them for a sign upon your hand. And they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. Let's not forget that not only do these words have power, and it was commanded to be on us on a certain parts of our body.
Yeah.
Is all that God don't do nothing for symbolism or tokenism.
That's right.
It has an effect on your spirit.
Oh,
And as long as we don't have it there, it's not gonna have that effect.
That's
Right.
Teach.
That's right.
Each one of these laws, when performed, calls wisdom to you. You know why it calls wisdom to you? Because wisdom maketh men the friends of God.
Okay.
That's right.
So when you call wisdom to
Right.
you, you get a clarity on how to find favor in his eyes.
That's right.
And that's why it said he will cause to draw near to him whom he had chosen.
That's right.
That's why he said that in number 16. God calls you to draw near to him. First, you force yourself to read every day. You don't feel like it. It's discipline. Just like working out every day. Just like eating right. You force yourself because you know it's good for you.
Yeah.
Because you read in here where he said he told the king to write him a copy and read therein all the days of his life,
That's right.
that he may learn to fear me, and that his heart be not lifted up above his brethren.
That's right.
And it works like magic, because the more you read it, after a while, it starts to grow on you.
That's
And
right.
guess what else? You start to grow. And before you know it, you're not so proud anymore. Your heart is not lifted up above your brethren. And you start to fear God. Now you out in the street and you, no, don't do that. Because the law is in your head. It becomes a part of you. And that's how they were able to repeat it through oral repetition to their children over and over again. Because the more you read it, it becomes a part of you. The more you repeat it, it becomes a part of you. The more you speak about it, it becomes a part of you. And once it's a part of you, it becomes you. It becomes who you are. And now you walking in the ways of God.
Now you don't flip yourself.
See, I used to say the commandments and God's ways is two different things. God's ways is a level up from the commandments. But you know what?
That's right.
When you walk in the commandments, you are walking in the ways of God.
Talk to
The
me.
commandments teach you to walk in the ways of God. If he said, if you see the ass of him that hated thee lying under his burden and what is forbear to help him, that shall surely help him.
That's right.
I don't hate him, he hates me.
Right.
And the Most High telling me that I must stop whatever I'm doing
And help.
and help him to lift up his ox again that's under his burden. Now, you think I could go and because I'm strong, so I'm gonna lift this ox up. The only way you're gonna lift the ox up again is to take the burden off of his back. Now, what's gonna happen when you take it off his back? Brother, I help you take the burden off. I see you later, man. Have a good one. No, I gotta help you take this burden to your destination now. So guess what? Your task, your goal, your mission for that day became my mission. But you hate me. You see the type of heart God is teaching us to have? And he's my brother. Let me stop using this guy for example, man. He don't hate me. He don't hate me. I be like, man, he's the blunt of every and you no, he's not.
Everybody knows
Yeah. But the point is that he's teaching us to have a heart, because when you do that for your brother, what kind of man gonna turn around and still hate you after that? You just helped him. And guess what? The whole way you going to the journey, y'all gonna end up talking. Y'all gonna end up breaking that animosity.
How your mom doing, man?
Yeah, how your mom doing, man? She all right? Hey, man, heard your wife just had a little one, man.
Congratulations.
Share, man. You know what I'm saying? But and then it gets squashed, and this breeds unity.
Hey, there you go.
He'll say, man, I saw such and such. I saw Jehoshaphat by the way with his axe falling down. He said, shoot, he think I'm gonna help him. He don't know I heard what he was saying about me to Jonathan. Shoot.
Crazy.
How you feel now, Just Jack?
You trying to get that? You was no nut out here.
Come on, man. That's not what God is teaching us.
That's
man.
not the way.
When you really think
That's not the way.
Yeah. You know,
That's
and
not the
you
way.
know, I was driving by, brother. You know what I'm saying? He was stopped in the road. He caught a flat tire. The Lord don't say nothing about a flat tire. The Lord said, if his ox fall down, he ain't got no ox. Shoot, I ain't obligated to stop.
Yeah.
What kind of heart you got, man?
Why
The
not?
law is teaching you the
The way
principle,
you going
the
down.
way. That's the point I'm making. That when you walk in these laws,
Yeah.
your ways will change.
Right.
And when you see him with a flat tire, you're gonna say, "Nah, I can't pass by him. I can't pass by him. That's my brother. I gotta help him, man." And he hate me. That's all right, cause I ain't doing it for him. I'm doing it for him, but I'm doing it because God said to do it for him. And then in turn, like again with the reading, you forcing yourself to do what's right in the eyes of God. And after a while, I end up loving the guy.
Yeah.
Even though he hate me. Man, this ain't no Christianity, man. You don't love them to hate me, but that's my brother.
In the eyes of who?
That's my brother. He ain't talking about the nations, the eyes of our God. That's my brother. There's no grudges amongst us.
Not supposed to be.
Not supposed to be. We're not supposed to walk around hating each other. Nah, I don't mess with that brother, man. He bugging.
That's right.
I don't mess with him, man. We're not gonna always see eye to eye.
No, you ain't.
My brother Chief Shama used to say, if you like everything about a person, something wrong. There's no way you're gonna like everything about a person, because now you're going into worship. You cannot like it's not natural.
Which means we're gonna clash.
We're gonna have, even if we might have a clash of opinion, but we don't have to clash. We could have enough wisdom to be able to.
But there's a level.
Keep it at a level where we don't
And it
cross.
don't excel and pass
We
that
don't
level.
cross that level, and that level doesn't
Draw
cross
the
over.
line.
That level doesn't cross over to hate or grudge.
Right. That's the line that has to be drawn.
I ain't saying nothing that ain't in this book, man.
That's right.
That's right. It's in there.
That's right.
Let's go to Genesis chapter 3, because we need to learn keys.
Yeah.
We need to learn
Genesis
keys
chapter 3.
on
Yeah.
how to conquer sin,
Drop it.
on how to overcome the evil spirit.
Drop it. Drop the key.
Genesis chapter 3.
Give me the key.
Bereshit. Chapter 3. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, yeah, had God said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
And let me tell you what I learned through my job in sales. When I say it, you question it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you say it, you believe it.
Mm.
So the approach is when you want to get somebody to do the thing you want them to do, to influence them into doing something for a mutual benefit is what it should be,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because a good salesman is not just trying to take your money. He's trying to provide you a solution that you're happy to pay for,
Right.
right? And so what I learned from that is there's a lot of relation to righteousness in this mentality, because when you're trying to sell somebody something, it's not just you're trying to get their dollar, you're trying to help them,
Mm-hmm.
right? Help them figure out a solution.
Mm-hmm.
And when you use that for the wrong advantage, it becomes wickedness.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to take your money and I'm gonna sell you this thing that I know is gonna break down anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's wickedness,
Mhm.
because you're taking advantage of people. You're using this tactic as a guise to help someone,
That's right.
and your real intentions is not to help them.
That's right.
Right.
Your intention is to trick them, to make them do the thing you want them to do.
Right.
But the tactic in sales, whether your intentions could go either way, the tactic is to ask them a question. And your questions, the line of questioning you ask them is going to get them to tell you what they need.
Right.
So when they say they need it, they believe it. When you say you need this, they question it. Why do I need it? But when you ask them the questions and tell them to get them to tell you what they need, they already said what they need. Well, check this out. I have that right here.
Mm.
I could help you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a cost for this, though, but it's worth it. I'm going to show you why it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the serpent used the same tactics
Same
on
method.
Eve.
Same method.
He said, had God said,
Question.
you shall not eat of every tree of the garden, because when she say it, she going to believe it. Ain't that right? She said it out her mouth herself.
That's right.
And she going to act on whatever you believe and what you speak out of your mouth. People are going to act on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So she said, had God said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden,
Wait, before you continue, I don't want to skip nothing. The serpent was more subtle, not subtle. Because translations use subtle. This is English. This is where the translations get misconstrued because we have words in English from this bastard tongue that we learn that have similar spelling and different meanings, or similar spelling, same spelling and different meanings, right? So subtle is something that is not obvious. Subtle. It's a subtle approach, right? Subtile is when you use trickery and cunning to trick someone.
That's right.
And that is more so according to what we're reading in Hebrew, but not exactly. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the word for subtle in Hebrew is arum.
Arum. That's right.
Arum is also the word for naked.
That's right. That's right.
Arum is also the word for wise.
Okay.
Arum also means cunning.
Okay.
Crafty.
Okay.
But that's why I always say, man, the book tell us what words mean.
That's right.
Because this is not the same wise as kakma.
That's right.
Or kakam.
That's right.
Right? That's not the same wisdom, because that wisdom comes from God as a gift to them that please him.
That's right.
To them who walk in his ways. To them that perform the law. Wisdom coming through the performance of the law. It's in their pocket.
I know.
Oh, Wisdom of Solomon, one of them, but probably right, yes. So that's wisdom coming from God, and is a gift of God to them that please him. The difference between knowledge and wisdom, because you could have the knowledge of wickedness, but Proverbs chapter 2, verse 6. Okay, hold that, because we say a lot of things that you might just think we're paraphrasing when we come up here. You might think that we are interpreting the book our way and coming up with things out of our heads by connecting dots and drawing our own conclusions. No, if we're going to draw a conclusion, the evidence is in the book, and we're going to show you the evidence that led to this conclusion. And in this particular case, we say a lot. You might as well say wisdom cometh through the performance of the law. Well, we're going to cite these verses today. Okay. But while we're pulling that up, Ecclesiastes 19. While we're finding that and pinpointing that, because say you must read here a little, you must read there a little, line upon line, precept upon precept, then you may find the going and coming of the Lord. You may find it if your intentions are correct. If your intentions are to do them.
That's right.
To serve God.
That's right.
And remind me, we're going to speak about serve later on. Serve. And so subtle or arum in Hebrew, one of the definitions in the Hebrew English dictionary tells us wise. But it can't be the same as kakam, because the serpent whose intentions was not good was to turn man away from God, cannot be wise. So that wise is the only best definition or translation that we could come up with in English to fit the word arum in Hebrew, because there is no definite word in English to describe the entire capacity of what arum is. It's not only cunning and crafty, it's also mean you know something else that he don't know. You know something else that she don't know. You know something more. You are more skilled in this psychology than man. And that's what the serpent had, especially since they were innocent. So arum can be used for evil, but chakma cannot be used for evil, because as soon as you do something to depart from God, wisdom flees.
That's right.
Immediately.
Holy Spirit of discipline flees deceit. And the Holy Spirit of discipline, the spirit that disciplines you to do holy things, that gives you the strength to discipline yourself to do holy things, that is wisdom. The difference between knowledge and wisdom is that knowledge could be the knowledge of anything, but wisdom is the knowledge of the things that are pleasing to God and the performance of those things.
That's right.
Not just the know-how, but to do those
Actions.
things. That's when wisdom comes into play.
That's right.
Because wisdom will whisper to you, and you don't listen, and she's gone.
Not gonna
That's
tell
And
you.
now you have no more wisdom.
That's
You
right.
are leaning on your own understanding.
That's right.
You are following your own heart's
That's
lust.
But most I told us not to do.
Right. Okay. And let's hear the verse. You got it?
Genesis chapter.
No. From
Ecclesiastes 19.
yeah, wisdom is coming through the
Ecclesiastes.
performance of the law.
I get it.
Verse 20.
Okay. Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiasticus.
Apocrypha.
Gotcha.
19.
19. Said verse
19
20.
verse 20.
Verse 20.
And I just do this because I understand there's people out there seeking, and like my brother said, you might have heard other teachers from other camps say certain things, and some people down the things that you might have heard here, or they speak something opposite to what you heard here. So we want to make sure that whatever we go over, we're gonna be able to show you in the book. All right. So this is not us drawing our own conclusions and adding our own opinions, adding or taking away.
That's right.
That's right.
The book of the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus chapter 19, verse 20. The fear of the Lord is all wisdom,
Uh-huh.
and in all wisdom is the performance of the law,
Uh-huh.
and the knowledge of his omnipotence.
Omnipotence.
So all wisdom, the fear of the Lord is all wisdom.
Mhm.
When you feel how you think you're gonna get wisdom without reading the law every day? See, a lot of people have it misconstrued that with age comes wisdom.
No.
With experience comes wisdom.
No.
There's a bunch of old fools walking around in the world today. There's a bunch of old fools running the world today.
Running the world, yeah.
That's right.
So wisdom don't come through your experience. Wisdom don't come through age.
That's right.
Wisdom comes through
Performance.
performance of the law by doing the things that please God.
That's it.
It's not every
And he reveals certain things to certain people that have the intent in their heart and prepare their hearts to do what's right in the eyes of God.
Mhm.
Very well said.
That's it.
Teach.
Everything else is just knowledge.
Knowledge. That's it.
And that don't make you righteous.
That's right.
No.
You have knowledge of how to build a hydrogen bomb and it
That's
destroys all of mankind. Oh, that you the righteous one, huh? Because you knew that. Nobody else knew.
The knowledge to make cars.
That don't make
That's-
sense.
That's
Yeah.
what those are.
All of the things, the transportation, the electricity, everything that they made is to make life speed it up and faster.
God doesn't make cars.
It's destroying us little by little. That's why I told you before. The shortcut is the long way.
Always.
Because doing this fast life, you got a longer way now to get to God.
Right.
But when you live the way He gave us, which is simple and plain, you can get to Him a lot faster.
Close.
Should have flown 5 airplanes to
Stay
Egypt
upon the
and brought
path.
us out by airplane.
Stay on the path.
Oh, niggas, man.
Y'all know they had flying vehicles before the flood. Y'all know that? It's on the Egyptian. It's in the Egyptian hieroglyphics. And some of the pyramids were built before the flood. You ain't know that? That's why there's water erosion on it.
That's correct.
They were submerged in water. There's still one right now submerged in water.
Facts.
Do your research, man. Check it out.
Facts.
There's one in the Grand Canyon.
Mhm.
It was called the Pyramid of Isis.
Facts.
Do your research. There is a cave in the second layer of the Grand Canyon that is a whole city. It is inside the rock is a city, and on the wall it says King Zaphnat.
Uh-oh.
Y'all ever heard of another King Zaphnat
No.
besides Joseph?
Nah.
It says firstborn son, hieroglyphs, mind you. If that ain't enough for you, it says master mariner, master architect, master builder. And you know what the last one say? Master of dreams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who else is that?
Uh-oh.
Joseph was
Right.
wise beyond the times.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
During the 7 years of plenty, you think he just stood there hoping that it was going to be flourishing?
No.
Joseph made things happen.
That's right.
He made journeys to other lands to bring
Right.
grain.
That's right. That's right.
This is all documented. Check it out for yourself.
That's right.
That ain't in Genesis. It's all in there. You just need to pay attention and then do your research. These are things they hide from us because they don't want to know. They don't want you to know the stock that you come from.
Yeah.
They don't want you to know that you come from this royal seed of people who is not just a fairy tale.
That's right.
That's right.
They don't want you to know how powerful we are.
And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, But of the fruit of the trees which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
Hey, your presence is always a pleasure.
I love y'all. Y'all my family.
I say that because Chief would have said that. He would not let you walk out the door.
That's correct. That's it.
Okay, Shabbat shalom.
He said, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
The woman said to the serpent, of the fruit of the trees of the garden we may freely eat, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, you shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. And here go man adding on. I ain't gonna single nobody out. Here goes man adding on, talking about, well, she lied because she wasn't even there when God told Adam not to eat of that tree. She wasn't even there yet. So she lied because Adam did. The only way she could have found that out is that Adam told her. Mm-hmm. And Adam, unless Adam told her not to touch it, she said God said, so she lied. First of all, with your disrespectful, dishonoring your own mother self, you're not even considering that this is your mother we're talking about. But you know why? Because you probably call your own mother a liar. So you don't feel no kind of way.
Unbelievable.
You don't believe your own parents.
Uh-huh.
Make you think you're going to believe Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Which is wickedness, by the way, if you don't believe your parents.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, here's the first point.
Spit. Roll on.
They had not eaten of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil yet, which means she did not have the knowledge of evil.
Mm-hmm.
Which means she's in her innocence. Which means she does not know how to tell a lie.
She don't know what a lie is.
But you don't read this book and put yourself in people's shoes because you're too busy thinking that you know and you bring in the baggage of what you learned in your life to this book instead of coming with a simple heart.
Right.
Instead of seeking God in simplicity of heart. You want to add your opinion to everything. You want to make deductions of the evidence here according to your own perspectives.
Right. What I think.
Not using the book for a foundation. And when you use this book for a foundation, the first thing you're going to do is say, who's speaking? Who are they speaking to? And you want to get specific? Let's answer those questions. Who is speaking? God spoke these words to Moses. So you're trying to say that God said that Eve lied. Watch yourself.
Watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth.
Because who is speaking is God to Moses to tell him what happened in the beginning when no one was around to write it down.
There you go.
That's right.
God is saying this.
Okay?
God is saying this.
So that's number one. That's number two.
So you call
First of
God
all,
a liar.
the first one is Eve did not eat of the knowledge of the tree of God, of good and evil yet. So she didn't even know how to lie. She did not have the knowledge of evil.
She
didn't even have the knowledge of good.
Yeah.
All they knew is what God told them.
That's
And
it.
so the good that they knew was not the
Facts.
knowledge of all good. It was
Spit
only
that.
the good that God told them.
That's
Roll
it.
on.
That's all they knew.
That's it.
Just like the way you raise your children. When you keep them in the house and you don't let them go outside and you will not let them watch TV or internet, they would only know what you told them.
That's right.
But they get educated when they go to school. They get
That's right.
educated when they watch TV. They get
That's
educated when they go on the internet.
That's right.
That's right. Teach.
And this is how Eve was. This is the frame of mind that she was in her innocence.
That's
It's
right.
impossible for her to lie.
That's right.
She don't even know it.
That's a foolish statement. Anybody that thinks that or said that.
That's right.
And I don't care who it is or what you call yourself
Uh-huh.
because you don't match up with the book.
That's right.
That's right.
God ain't called her a liar.
I ain't scared to spit the truth. It's right here.
That's it.
You ain't saying nothing that ain't in the book, then you're speaking
Those are
foolishness.
You the liar.
Those are your
And
words.
you a fool.
That's
Those
right.
are your words.
That's right.
That's right.
Write it down.
Genesis chapter.
And I don't like to come like this, but I get offended
That's
when
right.
people talk about my mama.
Me too.
Okay.
Right.
Me
Okay.
too, brother.
And that's my mother.
Me
Okay.
too, brother.
Okay.
Me too,
Watch
brother.
your mouth.
So there's this that solves that right there. Eve was not lying. There was a conversation that God had with Eve that wasn't recorded. Because she said God said,
Right.
and she don't lie.
Right.
She don't know how to lie.
That's right.
And God must have told her, neither shall you touch it.
That's
He
right.
didn't have to tell Adam that because God sees past, present, and future. So he knew that it was going to be a thing where she could touch it. She was going to touch it.
That's right.
He didn't teach Adam not to tell Adam not to touch it because he saw Adam wasn't going to touch it. The only way Adam was going to get it, it was through her. And let's stop thinking that God is not in control of all things.
That's right.
They were supposed to eat of it.
That's right.
You think God didn't know that they was going to eat of it when
God
he
knew
planted
they
it?
was going to eat from it.
When he planted it, you don't think he knew?
God knew he was going to eat it.
Why you think he did it that way?
Uh-huh.
Because when God gives you something, he don't take it away. And when he gave you the privilege to choose and make your own decision. Do y'all hear the introduction? I didn't make them words up. All that come out of the book. Some of it is paraphrased in my own words, but it's all in the book. That God gave us the ability to reason.
That's right.
The ability to reason, to think.
That's right.
The ability to be able to use our senses
That's
to
right.
be able to articulate our thoughts and express.
That's right. That's right.
And so we're able to figure things out.
That's right.
And in that process that he gave us all these faculties to be able to choose,
That's right.
he's not going to take it away from us just to make us do what he said he wants us to do. He's going to allow us to walk and bump our heads and learn our lessons. And guess what? God knew they was going to eat of it because this fleshly life is a trial to see who's going to follow God just off of belief.
That's right.
Just off of belief. And they heard him. And they seen him.
That's right.
And some men in this book heard his voice and seen him.
That's right.
And they were counted as his saints and righteous because they believed God.
That's right.
We so far away from God because of sin, because of iniquity increasing in the earth, and because of our father's sins. We don't see God. We don't hear God. Well, some of us. Some of us. Because if you're paying attention, you can see him and hear him right now.
That's right.
When you start to connect the dots of how you got here, that was God. So we got to keep all of this in mind when we're reading the book. Stop looking with a book. Stop reading the book with a critical eye.
Yeah. A heathenistic mindset.
Yeah. And read the book with an eye of one that is looking to learn how to gain favor in the eyes of God with a humble heart. Pride is the beginning. This is good. Pride is the beginning of sin.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I wrote something down about perception. Because everything is perception. Two men go through the same exact event.
Okay.
Experience the same event at the same time in the same place.
Okay.
And both men have a different perception of what happened.
That's right. Uh-huh.
One guy changes his life forever. The next guy go back to living however he wanted.
Knowledge. He always say, perception is a mother. Perception.
It's true.
Perception is a mother.
It is. Perception. And here's what I wrote about perception. Our perception is developed according to our pride.
Okay. That's right.
Oh, I know why that happened. Because, you know what I'm saying? You know what? That's what happened. And I'm going to give you a reason for why it happened according to my views and my perspective that fits making me look good. I'm the one. It's all about me. So this happened to do this to me and to lift me up. Whereas the man with the opposite frame of mind with less pride, or the humble man, sees it as a sign from God that I need to change because I'm not right in the eyes of God. And it's the opposite perception. So when we read this book, you can read the same chapter.
That's right.
As this other brother right here.
Mm-hmm.
But your perception of what happened in the chapter is going to be totally different to this brother over here who's got a mind to humble himself before God and change his ways.
That's a fact.
So now that brother's going to read it over and over. And he might be slower to get it than you are.
That's right.
I mean, as far as like reading comprehension. But he's going to be faster to get the wisdom in it.
Right. Okay.
So it ain't about who's a scholar. It ain't about how much you studied, how long you studied, how many books you read.
What is it about?
Do you do what you know?
Uh-huh.
That's the question pertaining to righteousness. Mm-hmm. I don't care what you do if you can solve a calculus problem. That ain't what God judging by.
Right.
He's judging by, do you do what he showed you to be right and wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Are you living accordingly? Mm-hmm. And the serpent said to the woman,
Ye shall not surely die.
Oh, because again, he's Arum. He knows something that she don't know.
Yeah.
He knows that in her innocence, she views a day as sunset to sunset. In her eyes, a day is when the sun sets to the next sunset.
Sparked her interest. Oh, you ain't gonna die. What?
And then she said, what?
What?
And now she's starting to believe him.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Because that's not her
Uh-huh.
fault either. I don't want to hear about, well, Eve must have had it in her. She must have wanted to be like God. That's why. You know, she didn't like that. First of all, you're not putting two and two together from what you read.
Mm-hmm.
Because for her to have that frame of mind, she would have had to be lesser than Adam, created in the image of Elohim.
God. That's right.
She was not lesser than Adam at this time.
Mm-hmm.
When it says he made a help, right? He made her a help meet for him. There's no, first of all, let's clarify. There's no such thing as help meet. It's a help meet for him. Meet in Old English is suitable. Okay, but that's not even the good translation from English. In Hebrew, it says he made it ezer kinegdo. Neged means to be opposite. It also means to be against. But again, because we don't have a word in Hebrew to fit the word, a word in English to translate neged properly.
Okay.
We have more than one meaning of against, don't we? So it's not against him like she's his enemy, but it's against him like I'm leaning against the wall. A support. Thank you, brother. And that's not conveyed through the definitions in the Hebrew English dictionary, but it is conveyed in the book. So by reading the book, again, the book tells us what words mean.
That's right.
Right?
Help me.
Yeah, to help meet his obligations. There you go. And so he made her a help suitable. He made her a help to support him. He made her a help opposite to him. Right? And so if anyone is assigned or appointed a position where they're supposed to help you, how are they going to be inferior to you?
Right.
You can't help me if you're inferior to me, because I'm going to have to show you and teach you everything.
There you go.
So how you going to help me?
That's right.
She wasn't inferior to him. She was created as his counterpart.
That's right. That's right.
There's a balance. Thank you, brother. And there is a such thing in Hebrew, according to the language that God created when he set up the order of life. There is a such thing as masculine words and feminine words. There is a such thing. Back me up, man. You know what I'm gonna lean on. There's a such thing as masculine words and feminine words.
That's right.
And guess what? Masculine words, they're not just randomly chosen to fit certain things. They are words to describe things that have a masculine job, a masculine authority, a masculine role.
Okay.
So people could flip it and change it the way they want. I'm telling you about the logic of Hebrew.
That's right.
There are feminine words that fit a feminine role, a feminine job, a feminine authority.
There we go.
There is a such thing as a feminine authority, right? Because I read in here where he said he given the mother authority over the sons. Ain't that right? Okay. So just to give you an example really quick. Etz is a tree. Etz. Etzim is masculine.
Okay.
Right? The tree brings forth fruit.
Okay.
The fruit is peri.
Okay, I see where you're getting at.
But the fruit is perot in Hebrew, which is feminine.
Okay.
And it holds the seed.
Okay, I see where you're getting at.
You see how everything is set up to the order of life through masculine and feminine, through the language? And that's how I could stand here and say with such affirmity that God, with such confidence, that God set up the order of life according to the language.
Okay.
You know, here's another one.
Okay.
Here's another one.
Spit it.
Adam.
Okay.
It means of the earth.
Go ahead.
It means man.
Okay.
Adama is the word for earth.
Okay.
In Hebrew, the I at the end, the hey, or the I at the end of a word it denotes a feminine word, right?
Uh-huh.
But it's not all.
Okay, go ahead. Spit that.
When you are going with the earth is a place, right or wrong,
Okay.
right? It's a
Okay,
place,
go
right?
ahead.
In Hebrew, when you are going to a place, a
Okay.
destination,
Okay.
and it says he went to Jerusalem,
Uh-huh.
it could have just said Lek by Jerusalem,
Uh-huh.
and it would have been fit. It said Lek, go, be to Jerusalem, right?
Okay.
But the way that Hebrew is set up, the logic of the language, it says Lek be Jerusalem.
Okay.
Anytime you're going to or toward a place or from a place, it puts I at the end of the place. And that'll make the place feminine.
No.
It's to denote that it's a destination or a place.
Uh-huh.
So the translation of Adama literally is the feminine form of Adam or towards man.
Okay.
Gotcha.
To
Right.
man.
Gotcha.
And why does that make sense according to the logic and the order of life?
Okay.
That towards man, she was not only going to bring forth man, but she was created to bring forth for man.
Mhm.
She was able to bring forth the fruit, the trees, the grass, and everything, the medicines of the earth, everything that she was to bring forth was to the nourishment, the service, the
Of man.
provision of man.
That's
Just
right.
like a mother would do her children.
That's right.
Okay?
Gotcha.
That's heavy.
To serve.
Gotcha.
We're
Gotcha.
going to circle back on serve later on. Okay, Tom Sheep. And this is just a couple examples, by the way. We could go through over and over about the masculine and feminine words to prove the order of life was set up through the language.
Mm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Tom Sheep.
For God doth know that in the day that ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
Okay, but you say you shall not surely die, because in Eve's mind, in the day you eat of it, you shall not surely die. He said you shall die, right? He said, oh, you ain't gonna die, because the serpent knows. He didn't say in the day you eat of it, you ain't gonna die, did he?
Right.
He said, yo, you ain't gonna die, and he left it at that.
Right.
Because he know that in her mind, a day is from sunset to sunset.
Mhm.
But I read in this book where it said, and yesterday is as 1,000 years in the eyes of the Lord.
That's right. Huh?
So them first 6 days wasn't no 24-hour days.
Okay.
How could it be if you didn't have a sun and moon until the fourth day? Those are thousands of years.
Years.
1,000 years for each day,
Mm-hmm.
according to God, to
Mm-hmm.
God's time.
And that's why nobody lived to see 1,000.
And thank you. And that's why God didn't lie when he
That's
said the day you eat of it, you're
Right.
going to die. It's because in his eyes, a day is 1,000 years.
Right.
And God don't lie.
So,
The evidence is right here. It's in there. You just don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And you ain't seeing it because you stop-hearted and you too proud. And the reason why we want to be right all the time is because we don't want to get right. If I'm right, I ain't got to change. Is that right?
That's right.
But if I know I'm not right, I got to get right.
That's
And to
right.
get it right, I got to change my ways.
Mhm.
I got to humble myself. I got to say, I have sinned.
That's right.
I was wrong. And one of the strongest men that I ever read about in here, that's what he said when the prophet approached him and showed him that he sinned. That's the first thing came out of his mouth. I have sinned. He didn't say, no, it wasn't like that. Who does God think he is, man? I'm the king. Who you think you're talking to?
That's right.
King David.
Mm-hmm.
Jerusalem came close, 969.
969. And the only reason why he didn't make it is because God killed him before the flood, so he don't be punished with the wicked.
Mm-hmm.
Because
He was right on time.
because if the man righteous, you gonna live out your days,
That's right.
but you ain't gonna make it because there's time involved. And if you do the math, from the time that Methuselah died to the time of the flood,
Mm-hmm.
then you're gonna see that there was just enough time for these things to go down.
Yep.
If you do, and that's another thing I want to talk about. Yesterday, someone asked a question about the chickens, right? Because we were talking about chickens.
Right.
And so somebody was like, well, chicken's been around for this many years, and chicken's been around, and they found chicken bones in the land of Israel, and it's evidence that they ate it for food. Well, guess what? They also found idols in the land of Israel.
Okay.
Does that mean it was okay to serve idols?
Okay.
Okay. So just because they found chicken bones in the land of Israel
Doesn't mean
don't
it's
mean
good.
it was okay
Thank
to
you.
eat the
Thank
chicken.
Thank you, brother.
And the brother asked a question, and I respect and I admire that brother for that. He didn't say, hey, well, check this out, you wrong. He asked a question. And that's what you call when somebody that's coming to learn.
Right.
That's
Not to
right.
make a debate.
Not to make a debate or lift yourself up above your teachers.
Okay, I got you.
Right?
Okay.
And
right.
And that brother's older than me. Matter of fact, he was here before I was in the way of life.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me the question. And I said, they also found idols in the land of Israel. That don't make chickens clean.
Word.
Right? And the point is that when we're talking about these days here, and a day being 1,000 years, and we're talking about the time of the earth, you're going to read a lot of stuff when you Google and you research that, oh man, chicken's been around since 10,000 BCE. So what you trying to tell me that 10,000 BCE, we're going into the first days of creation. Because when you do the math from Adam to the flood, it's only 1,600 years.
Facts.
You could add it up. And Adam was 130 when Seth was born, right? And Seth was this years old when he had Enosh. And Enosh was this many years old when he had Canaan. And Canaan was this many years when he had Mahalalel. And all the way down to the genealogy to Noah, you can find out how old each man was when he had his firstborn son. And that will tell you, if you add up those years, that's how many years it was until the flood. Because he said, and then after that, and he had sons and daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Let's think about it. Chronology is in the book. You could deduce by the math that's in here, right? So 1,600 years to the flood. What's the calendar from the flood today? What did it say? 5784, right? Mm-hmm. We're in the year 5784, meaning we're 5,784 years since the flood.
Right.
Add that up with 1,600. It gives you about 7,000. Yeah, let's go with a number.
300 and change. 400.
Yeah, 384, something like that, right? 7,384 years. So you tell me chickens is 10,000 years old. Okay, so maybe you date back to the 5th day. Yeah, I go for that. But don't tell me nothing is 1,000,000 years old. Don't tell me dinosaurs is 65 million years old.
No.
It's not here.
No.
It's not. The math ain't math.
It ain't math.
It's not. You gotta. It's
not
unless you don't take the book as the foundation of truth.
That's what it
Unless
is.
you believe
That's
scientists
what it is.
who don't believe God.
I believe my history
So
teacher.
you believe your history teacher that don't believe God, or maybe she do, but she has to teach that to school, or else she loses her job.
All that food.
So we have to stick to this, man. This is the blueprint. This is your chronology. This is your set date for everything that happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right here.
So yeah.
And I don't see dinosaurs in that book. I see dragons though.
Yeah. Well, we have dinosaur bones, but here's the problem with it. And this is something that's food for thought for everybody listening online and for all of us here. Dinosaurs didn't survive the flood. If you do your research, the last bones of the dinosaurs are found in the Zuni layer of the earth, because these geologists who studied the layers of the earth gave names to different time eras according to the layers of the earth. And the Zuni layer was all hardened mud, which means all over the earth, everywhere there's land, when you go a certain distance down, it's called the Zuni layer, and it's solidified mud, proving that there was a flood that many years ago. And just by scientists' deductions, they found out that Zuni layer is approximately 6,000 years ago. It sounds like it's mathing up with the calendar, ain't that right? And those are the last layer of earth that you find dinosaur bones. You find it lower, but you don't find it above that, which means the dinosaurs died in the flood. And I remember God telling Noah in this book that he's going to call all the beasts to come and get in the ark. Ain't that right?
That's correct.
He said, man, dinosaurs ain't going to fit in the ark. Maybe dinosaurs would. Ain't that right? They would. And if you think that there was big giant elephants and giant giraffes and giant rhinoceroses in the ark, then you're not thinking. Because number one, a giant elephant eats way more than a baby elephant. And Noah's moving on God's orders in wisdom. He's not going to bring the giant creatures of everything in the earth. He's going to bring the babies. You want to know why? Because by the time they get off the ark, they're going to grow up and they're going to be fruitful. Because they got to have time to reproduce. They're going to be the first generation to come of that generation who came out the ark as babies and started chewing on this grass that was underwater for so long. That these trees that grew because of the rain that poured and flooded the earth. remember, it wasn't salt water falling out the sky.
Wow.
Okay, let's think about this for a second. Okay, so the animals that got into the ark were all babies, small animals. Let's just think for a second. To fit all the animals of every species on the ark. And then they don't eat as much either. He had to bring food and provision for the animals and him and his children and their wives. So they had to have enough food to feed everything. It was in the ark for a year. You know how much food they're going to be to fill a giant elephant? They eat tons. In a week, he done ate tons. How you going to feed them that? By the way, another thing. You don't need meat in your diet to build muscle.
Tell them again.
Gorillas is the most muscular creature on the earth. And they don't eat meat.
You can rip a lion in half. That's right.
They don't eat meat.
They don't eat it.
So that's another food for thought for you to think about.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
Ain't no telling what she saw.
Ain't no telling what she saw.
Because
Yeah.
the serpent is not no regular serpent.
Mm-hmm.
The Nachash was not the Nachash that we know today.
Mm-hmm.
It tells us he was the most arum of all the beasts of the
He
field.
was a specific serpent.
Yes, exactly. And
Special.
and when she passed by there all the time, probably. And then-
never decided.
Wasn't a temptation.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the lesson in this. As soon as somebody say, wait, you can't have that. Why not? No, you could get that. Why not? Now all of a sudden you want it.
All of a sudden you want. Mm-hmm.
And a tree desired to make one wise, where now she look at it and it all of a sudden it's glowing or something. It stands out to her. Wow, I could be wise. I could be like a god. A tree to be desired to make one wise. Let's see what it say here. The ma'akal, nekmad ha'etz, lehaskil. The word for to make one wise is to enlighten, to be enlightened. Sekel is the word.
That's right.
Haskil, it means to be enlightened.
That's right.
Okay, Tom Sheet.
And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice.
And they made themselves loincloths.
of
Because now, even though they have knowledge of good and evil, they're not well versed in good and evil. So they don't know exactly what everything that their nakedness is.
Yeah.
Just like a baby is born knowing good and evil, because the seed of wickedness is planted in the heart of Adam from that day.
Right.
The baby still has to learn certain things. The baby has to learn shame. The baby run around naked and don't care.
Yeah, you're running, laughing.
Just swinging.
You got cats.
Don't care. Right? But in time, the parents teach the baby shame. You can't go out there like that. You gotta cover up. And then the next thing, the baby feel embarrassed. You know, or the child after it grows up a certain age, feel embarrassed. And so they needed to learn these things. They didn't know. So at first they felt ashamed to cover immediately the private part, but they didn't know the righteousness of what your nakedness is.
Right.
That's right.
And I also like to point this out because there's a logic to the Hebrew language. The word for the serpent is arum, and the word for naked is arum. And he used the arum to make us naked.
That's right.
Use the arum to make us arum.
To make us know that we are naked. Nakash. Nakash is the serpent.
Right.
Tom Sheet.
And they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God amongst the trees of the garden.
And they heard the voice of the Lord walking in the garden, moving in the garden. They heard the voice of God going. That's what it translates to, in the garden. They heard God's voice going. And they were afraid because they were naked.
Right.
And they hid themselves. Still righteous.
Right. That's right.
Innocent. Because their first reaction was of being afraid and hide because I know I did something wrong.
Guilt set in.
But when people don't care
Guilt
and they
set
do
in.
it blatantly, and so what? I did it. Like these men that
With
we
no
read
guilt.
about, some of these men that we read about in the book, there's no remorse in them.
No remorse.
There's no uprightness in them.
Mhm.
They don't care if they did evil. They don't care who saw them, who found them out. They don't care that they got in trouble, they got busted. You ain't gonna do me nothing. I'm doing it anyway. It don't matter. So what? That's what those are the men that the book say stand upon their sword.
Yeah.
Tom Sheep.
And the Lord God called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice from the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, Who told thee that thou was naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? And the man said, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat.
Adam wasn't passing the buck.
No,
He don't know how to blame nobody yet.
no.
He's innocent still. He just told the truth. I hid myself because I was afraid, because I was naked. Who told you you was naked? Did you eat of the tree? The woman you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. He confessed. He confessed. That's what he did. He didn't say, well, it's not my fault. The woman you gave me, she did it. No. He told the truth. Did she not give it to him? Did he not eat it? He confessed.
Thank you.
But an old wicked sucker read this and say, see, he passing the buck. He blaming her.
Nah.
And it was her fault. It's your fault. Why?
Saying that.
Somebody said, the last time she decided what we get to eat, we died for it.
Yeah,
I said, what?
That's a meme. That's a meme.
I said, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's a meme on the internet.
People got a twisted mentality
Twisted
and they don't
mentality.
read the book.
Twisted mentality.
What you mean?
That's right.
Talking about Mama Eve like
You
that.
talking about your mother.
Twisted.
And you think it's a joke. You think it's a game. You think God gonna let you get away with dishonoring your mother? Watch your mouth.
That's right.
I keep saying it. God said, be merciful, have compassion, have a heart. And instead of following those traits and trying to be like God, you want to be the judge like God.
Uh-huh.
You wicked, they wicked, they pointing the finger. Who you? And the sad part is, you don't even realize that there is nothing that goes unanswered.
You don't talk about nobody.
There is nothing. There is no, and that goes for good and evil.
That's
There
right.
is no good deed that goes unanswered.
That's right.
And there is no evil word spoken or deed that is done that goes unanswered.
That's right.
The wages of sin is death. Tom Sheep.
And the Lord God said unto the woman, What is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. And the Lord God said unto the serpent,
And she didn't know she got tricked until after she ate it.
Yep,
That's right.
that's right.
It's like taking candy from a baby, right? So literally, a baby has a piece of candy, and you take the candy from the baby, right? And the baby go, and you give the candy back to the baby, right? And the baby get happy. And as soon as he grab it, you snatch it back again. The baby go, and you give it back, and you do that like 3-4 times. About the 5th time, the baby go start to get mad. And when you put the thing close, you snatch it real fast. You trying to trick me now. Because I learned what a trick is.
Right.
She didn't know she got tricked until after. You want me to tell you how she knows she got tricked?
Good example.
You want me to tell you how she knows she got tricked? Because she saw thorns and thistles coming forth and flowers and fruit dying. Nothing died in the beginning. Nothing died before they ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The Garden of Eden was with everything that bring life.
Everything.
Now, the tree of life gonna make you live forever. But these fruits will still sustain your life while you're here. That's why we still have fruits that have, even though it's not all of them, they still have some nutrients in it. Because that's the way God made them. Them fruits in the beginning had so much nutrients, they didn't rot. They ain't rot. Death came upon the scene when they ate the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And that wasn't just death for man, that was death for everything. God made everything to sustain life. How you gonna sustain life with something that dies?
Everything rises.
But because we die now, the fruits have a life. The fruits have a lifespan. And if you don't eat it in a certain amount of time, it's gonna die. It will expire, just like
Adam
us.
was created to live forever.
That's right.
Well put.
Tom She.
And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this.
Again, she just told the truth. The serpent tricked me, and I did eat. She confessed.
Uh-huh.
Tom She.
Thou art cursed above all cattle.
Did God ask the serpent a question?
No.
What hast thou done?
Nope.
Because he know that you know better.
I know you
Mhm.
did.
So I said, pay attention. This wasn't no regular serpent. It
Mhm.
wasn't no regular Nachash. God knew that this one knew something
That's
different.
right.
Than
That's
it
right.
was more arum than the rest of the beasts of the field.
That's right.
You knew the vibes.
He knew the vibes. Straight up. Tom She.
And above every beast of the field, upon thy belly thou shalt go, and thus shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and
He
her
said,
seed.
cursed art thou from among all cattle, which means the
Uh-oh.
serpent had legs.
That's right. He
And
was
if-
counted
and if-
amongst the cattle.
And if there are certain breeds of snake today that if you look it up, you look at the bottom of it, it got little tiny nibs, 4 little nibs
Yeah, you see
sticking
it.
out of
You
his
see it
belly.
going like this.
There's certain breeds of snake that still have it.
Like that.
And even scientists say at one point these were legs. This is how they evolved.
Yes.
No, they didn't evolve.
They
They were cursed.
That's right.
And that's why it was taken away
That's
from
right.
them. He said, cursed thou from among all cattle, from all the beasts of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity, hatred. I will put a ba, which is like an enemy also, which is enmity or adversity,
Yeah.
to be against.
Uh-huh.
Between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed.
Uh-huh.
They shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise their heel.
Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly
Verse
shalt thou
16.
go.
What verse 16?
And unto Adam he said, because thou
I'm
hast
sorry, 15. Sorry. It's different.
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrows and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
Okay.
That was a punishment.
She was created as a help, right? She
Uh-huh.
was created as a help,
Uh-huh.
as his equal, as his counterpart, right? And now because she ate of the tree, even though she was tricked,
Uh-huh.
so I don't want to hear, that's why you keep hearing me say there's no excuses.
No excuses. That's correct.
Don't complain.
Once you find
Don't
out-
blame.
once you find out-
There's no excuses. Because even though she was tricked and God knew she didn't know better,
That's
you
right.
still have to pay for not hearkening to the voice of God.
That's
Right. Right.
no excuse.
That's
And Adam too. This is
That's
us.
true.
Let's not forget. He said, and in the day that he created them, they were called Adam. He said they were called Adam. It says the same thing in Hebrew.
That's right.
So that's how we're one, because we are mankind.
That's right.
All right. I need to start thinking like this. Think in Hebrew, not in English. English is meant to keep you divided. English is meant to keep. English is meant to keep you divided. It's to keep us conquered. It's to control us
Uh-huh.
and to separate us from God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it said, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy pain, thy sorrow, thy
And thy
pain, and thy travail. When she bring forth children, she's gonna suffer pain and sorrow.
Uh-huh.
And this is something that was the punishment of the woman.
That's okay.
The menstrual cycle is set up to renew the womb
Uh-huh.
That's correct.
every time
Recycle.
in accordance with the moon.
Yeah,
The menstrual
28
cycle
days.
is supposed to be, a healthy menstrual cycle is 28 days according to a month. Every
right.
month the womb renews itself so that she could be able and have the physical capabilities to bear a child.
Mm.
Okay, so that's why it renews itself.
Mm.
Again, this is part of the curse,
Mhm.
because this is why she brings forth pain. It's all, do
Uh-huh.
animals have menstrual cycles?
No. Yeah, they do.
Yes.
Yeah.
They do.
Oh,
They
yes.
do. They do. Dogs do.
Well, I stand correct.
Female.
I didn't know that.
Well, I stand correct.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cat started bleeding.
Cats really.
Yeah.
Every month?
Dogs do, yes.
Every month?
Yes,
Yeah.
every month.
Yeah.
Every month like a normal period.
Unless you get them new.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
gotta loot them. You
Yeah.
gotta loot them.
Okay.
But they bleed.
Well, you learn something every day.
Yeah, I learned that.
I had those.
Yeah.
But going back to what we're reading here, this is why the body is set up according to this, and this is why a woman have pain. Okay, well, you ain't gonna tell me that a dog have pain when they give childbirth, and they say, oh,
They do.
They don't got that. They don't get no pain with that. They just push
they're
them
not
out.
suffering pain in travel.
No.
Oh, that's for humans.
You're right. And we can say, well, look at her face, she's in pain. But you hit the dog, and I bet you the dog go, ow! Ain't that right?
Exactly.
You know what pain is.
Exactly.
Don't run no game on me.
That's pain.
Don't run no game on me.
Curse
Don't run no game on me.
curse is for us
That
humans.
curse is for man.
For man, not
Women,
for animals.
yes. Alright? Alright?
That's right.
So,
That's right, brother.
and so it's something, why is this there to remind us? Just like the rainbow is there to remind us. It's not a symbol of homosexuality. And that's why I was talking about the other day with one of my brothers. I said, you can't take the things that God made holy and now it belongs to this for wickedness. You can't take it over.
That's right.
It's still what God said it was for. It's to remind us that he's not going to flood the earth.
That's the purpose.
So you can't take that and it belongs to them now. There's nothing wrong with rainbows. They just corrupted
They
it.
try to corrupt it. That's right. That's right. See.
Tom sheet, and unto Adam he said.
And unto Adam he said, because thy
Oh, wait. I don't want to skip this
you
part.
skipped it. Yeah.
And thy desire shall be to thy husband.
And he shall rule
Wa'em
over you.
ishek unto your husband. Tishukwatek.
Oh,
Speaking to the woman.
Teshukwa.
Tishukwatek.
Desire.
Tishukwa
To
is
long
your
for.
desire, her lust,
That's
her
right.
longing.
Her longing. That.
So don't get mad if your woman miss you.
Uh-huh.
Come on, man. She always want to be at home, man. Shoot. You're supposed to be one with her, man.
She
It's
desires
not a
you.
bad thing for her to desire you. But when she don't desire you and she wants
That's the
somebody else,
problem.
you're
That's
gonna
the
be
problem.
mad.
She wanted you.
Ain't
Now
that?
you want to kill her. You want to kill her.
Yeah.
That's right.
Then you want to be mad. So her desire, her longing, and her lust should be to her husband.
She
And
wanted
look,
you.
this is what we fail to realize. We act like this curse is a choice.
Yeah.
We act like, well, she gotta allow herself to be ruled. She got, you know what I'm saying? She's supposed to want to desire. She can't escape this. God put it on her. She automatically gonna desire her man. He's automatically gonna rule over thee.
Uh-huh.
I don't care. The only reason why we have women in the position of power today is because of our sins. But
That's
God
right.
said a woman shall compass a man.
That's right.
Because we don't hearken to God. So the thing that's supposed to hearken to you ain't gonna hearken to you either.
That's
Your
right.
women nor your children.
That's why
And your children ain't gonna hearken to you or women because you ain't hearkening to your man.
Okay.
There's a pecking order here. There's an order of life that God set up. And you can't escape it. As much as you get stout-hearted against it, you're gonna pay for it. But you can't stop what's already in you.
That's right.
You can't run from your nature that God made you with. And this part of our nature, or this part of the woman's nature, was part of the curse from eating of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil and not hearkening to the voice of God.
That's right.
Now we can move on to the man.
And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it, curses the ground for thy sake, and sorrow shall thou eat of it all the days of thy life.
Now all of a sudden the ground is cursed for our sake. Thorns brought. Go ahead, continue.
It ain't carpet no more.
Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread till thou return unto the ground. For out of it was thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return.
My teacher taught us something. He said, bury me in my robe. Isn't that right? He said, don't spend no money on no fancy coffee.
That's correct. He said, get the
He said, you get the one that decomposes.
break up.
And it's gonna go back into the earth. Because they ain't gonna let you bury a body without a coffin.
All right.
That's the laws of the land. You're supposed to be able to.
Uh-huh.
In some states in the United
Some
States,
states.
if you have your own house, you can bury it in the
Yes.
backyard.
Mm-hmm.
California forbids you from doing that. I don't know what it's like over here.
Mm-hmm.
But you can bury it however you want if it's your property in certain states. That's for you to figure out if it's legal in your state.
Right.
But that wood after time is gonna, through the rain seeping through the ground into the ground, it's gonna end up decomposing in time, and his body gonna go back to the earth.
Right in the dust.
Those little fancy coffins that's covered with all that 5-6 layers of shellac.
Trap you in mahogany wood.
Yeah, it's gonna take. It was still decomposed in a
Yes,
longer
wow.
in a longer time, right? Don't bury in metal. That ain't, you ain't never going back to the earth.
Yeah.
Right? And so he said, so from to the dust of the ground was thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. That's the way that it was supposed to be.
Right.
Right? So because you hearken to the voice of thy wife.
Right.
Now we wonder why God had to tell Abraham to hearken to the voice of his wife.
Right.
He wasn't going to listen to Sarah
He
to put away Ishmael.
He
Right.
spent on her.
This is my son.
He did.
Yeah.
On her.
But God told him, hearken to the voice of thy
God
wife.
said,
She's
listen.
correct.
She's right.
She was right in that.
Well, guess what? What does that tell us?
What?
God ain't going to tell you every time your woman right, because you're not Abraham.
So hearken to
But it
everything.
tells you, consider.
Consider and hearken to anything.
Consider. Don't hearken to everything.
Right. Not listen.
Consider everything that your woman says.
Yeah.
Listen to her. Hear her out. Nothing happens by mistake, and God don't. Nothing happens by accident, and God don't make mistakes. You got the wife you got.
That's right.
For you, for a purpose. Sarah wasn't no deadhead.
That's right.
Rebecca said, "Why am I thus?" And she said, "Listen, I ain't gonna ask you. I'm going straight to God. Why am I thus, oh Lord?" She didn't turn to Isaac, and she got an answer.
Prudent wife coming from the Lord.
That's right. Prudent wife comes from the Lord. So, okay, she was rough around the edges when you got her. So were you
Exactly.
when God found you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Give her the benefit of the doubt, man.
That's right.
And I ain't find this in the book, but you know what love is?
Tell me what love is, Prince Zachariah.
Between a man and a woman,
What is it?
love is when you can feel the feelings of the other person just because they're important to you.
Okay.
That's it. And I don't have to be a woman to feel your feelings.
That's right.
Like my brother said earlier, you got to have empathy to be able to put yourself in her shoes to try to understand what she's feeling. Because all we can do is try to understand. Because I ain't a woman. I don't know your emotions. I don't know what you're feeling. But if I don't listen to you and I don't hear my woman, how am I going to ever try to imagine what's there? Be quiet. I don't want to hear that right now. No, you're wrong. It don't go like that. The book says, the book is for you. You are thou. She's not thou. She is thy wife. The book tells you who it's talking to.
Okay.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Cannot.
Let us slide sometimes, man.
Cannot. And so, the last thing I want to mention here, before I come down.
Right.
Two things. One is just going to be one sentence. David says over and over about quicken me in the Psalms over and over. When you look it up in Hebrew, it says chayeni. Cause me to live. How you going to cause someone to live that's already alive? Why would David say, thou shalt quicken me, and he's already alive? So there's something else for you to think about. And something else that boggled my brain for the longest.
What is it?
And I'm going back to California this week, but hopefully we'll set things up to where we can get it. I can still get a slap somehow, right?
Right.
And we'll go over it another time. But in 1 Chronicles chapter 21, it says, and the Lord moved In 2 Samuel chapter 24, it says, and God moved David. He said, the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and he moved David against them, saying, go number Israel and Judah. Then you read 1 Chronicles chapter 21, and it said, and Satan stood up against Israel and moved David to number the people. So people say, how is that? Which one is it? Oh, it was 2 different times. It's the same time. It tell you about he went to the threshing floor of Arana, offered the offering. God gave him 3 choices, and he said, let me fall into the hands of man and not into the hands of the Lord and not into the hands of man. And he also smote him with a heart attack. Isn't that right?
That's right.
That's right.
both at the same time. So how can one say God moved him and the other chapter say Satan moved him? But I'm gonna tell you like this: whatever the adversary do, God allowed it. Whatever God allowed, God did it because He made the adversary, and He made him for a purpose. And His purpose is to tempt mankind, so He could see which one of us would still hearken and follow God because we believe God, even under the pressures of temptation.
They said God did not hearken to Balaam.
That's right.
He was setting the curse on the people.
And I hope that everybody was inspired.
That's the question.
Does anybody have any questions? You can feel free to put it into the chat.
God gotta allow that curse to go down. He gotta allow that voodoo to work. You gotta allow it.
I asked myself, why would God do that? Allow the adversary to move David if He knew he was going to end up banging him with a heart attack. And you know what?
You all got a choice.
And you know what? You find it in the Psalms.
That's right.
David said, because of thy chastisement, it hath made me better.
Exactly.
And see, that's the part that the adversary can't see. He will move us to do certain things because he knows it will get God to turn on us. But He don't know about how you take it. Perception is everything. If we humble ourselves, and you will take that as your chance for edification, to make yourself better before God. Use the chastisement to bethink yourselves and turn to God. And with that, I hope that everybody's inspired by the words of the prophet Moshe and the words directly from the mouth of God. And I hope that we all humble ourselves and turn from our evil ways and walk upright before Him. I bid you have the ancient tongue of our Father, Shabbat Shalom.
House of the
Maccabee.